In this live stream, we're basically going to just have a chat and hang out. So welcome. If we're just meeting for the first time, my name's Alistair. I'm from Al's Action English, and I'm originally from Belfast, which is the capital city of Northern Ireland. Someone suggested to me that I should go live and actually try and talk to people. Here we are. So I'm looking at where are you guys from? That's a great place to start the conversation. Where are you from? Who's watching today? I can see I've got a couple of people watching. Where's everybody from? Where's the person from? 3 people. Hello. Why is the camera not in the middle? I'm sure I'm in front of it. Let's have a little look. This way. Is that better? No. Quarter CMs. Hello, Alexander. I recognize that name. You're going to have to tell people where Poor CMs is. It's not in Northern Ireland. That's not a very well-known place. How's the light? How's the sound? Is the microphone working okay? Hello, Natalia. Hi. Where are you from? 2 people. Nice. Kuruvsiams, it's the capital of Riga, which is the capital of Latvia, somewhere in Russia. I think that's going back a few years to the Soviet Union times. What's everybody been up to this Friday? And why are you watching a live stream on Friday evening? So I'll tell you a little bit about my Friday. I've just been back in Northern Ireland for over 1 week. I've lived in Latvia for the best part of the last 3 years. So I'm trying to settle back into the country where I was born, which is Northern Ireland. I lived here for 18 years. I've come back this summer, trying to establish myself in the country where I was born. So today I realized that I had to register again as a doctor. I mean, with a doctor, can you believe that? Because I hadn't lived here for 3 years. The doctor's clinic said I was inactive. It sounded to me like they didn't really want to help me. So I went down actually 2 days ago, and they asked for lots of paperwork. I was understudying physics, but I have to support the best teacher. Good job. You can do 2 things at once. There's not going to be anything too complicated here. Yeah, so I went down to the doctor 2 days ago, and I needed identification to show that I was a British person or Northern Irish person. I needed proof of residency, and I needed proof that I was doing something here, tax statements, or pension, or I don't know, evidence that I've been working and getting a salary. So of course I've only been back for 1 week, so my passport was fine and address was fine, but I haven't been working this week. I don't have a full-time job here, so getting evidence from that was actually quite difficult. So they said a bank statement would work. Now, of course, living in Latvia and in modern times, people use paperless statements. Yeah. So I couldn't show the doctor a statement. So I had to go down to the bank today. It was just like 10 minutes down the road, getting used to driving the other side of the road, and ask for a statement which had my address, Northern Irish address, which has to be in what we call the catchment area, and a statement of my money, just to prove that I'm actually doing something here. So I took that down, and the doctors were absolutely crazy. They said it'd be 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks before I would actually be registered in a practice here in Northern Ireland. And what's it like in other countries? I mean, Russia, Latvia. I know I've got some students from there. how long does it take to register with your local doctor? I mean, they gave the excuse that, what did she say to me now? She said it's the holiday season. So the date of the July the 12th can be quite an important day in Northern Ireland for some people. And I just felt like saying, like, that's 3 weeks away. Why can't you do something? Just send it off to the UK government, the NHS, get me registered, get me signed up so I can, have my blood test and, stuff like that. So that's basically what I did my Friday. Kate. Hi, Kate. Going to Dublin this summer. Supposing you visited, not even once. Any advice for the first trip there? It's a good question. We'll have a little think. How do I scroll down here? Alexander, so you're going to be there for long term. I mean, since I'm 18 now, I have to get registered, but I haven't done that yet. I guess that'll change when you're 18. Dublin. So why are you going, Kate? Is the first thing I would say. Holiday or any other reasons. First piece of advice I give you about Dublin is it's quite expensive. So it's maybe twice as expensive as Belfast. And that's like, 3 times as expensive as Riga. I would recommend you do a tour of the Guinness storehouse. It's a fantastic tour, very interesting how they make that drink. And then at the top, you get like a sky bar. You get a wonderful view of Dublin. Something else I'd recommend about Dublin is McConnell Street. It's like one of the famous streets. Fantastic place. And then Temple Bar if you're going out in the evening. Behave yourself, but that's a good place to go. The food there is incredible. The crack is incredible. The live music is amazing. It's like one of the most buzzing city centers that I've ever been to. But beware, it's very expensive. When are you going anyway, kid? Going there for a week or so with my mom. Nice. Not an option. Rather underwhelming, I gotta say. Okay, that's interesting. Thanks, guys, for your comments. I've got another question. I'd like to ask people. This is one that one of my students asked. Actually, I looked at it in my last live stream. If you could have dinner with one person in the world, who would it be and why? Let me know in the comments. If you could have dinner with one person in the world, who would it be and why? Let's see if we get some interesting answers. Anna's saying it's easy to register with a doctor in Latvia, very fast and easy. Alex, Kate, can you get me a red breast? What's a red breast, Alex? I have no idea what that is. Yeah, so one person in the world who you could have dinner with, who would it be and why? Here's one suggestion from me, just to get you thinking. I've been watching the tennis today. It's the grass court season in England, and there's a very famous tournament at the minute called Queen's Club in southwest London. A very old tournament, and near Heathrow Airport. And one person I would like to have dinner with is Roger Federer. If you guys haven't met me before, I'm a huge fan of tennis, and I have a lot of respect for what Roger did for the game of tennis. I remember he came on the scene as it was a 19-year-old in 2001 Wimbledon fourth round or quarterfinal. Fourth round, he beat Pete Sampras, who of course had won Wimbledon 7 times. And he was only a kid. He had this ponytail, which he sort of changed now. It took him a couple of years after that before he got his first Grand Slam. This was in 2003. It's 2019, and he is still number 3 in the world. He's still absolutely crushing it as a tennis player. Super talented, super hardworking. He's got a really good foundation, which I know does a lot of work in Malawi. And my brother spent some time in Malawi trying to help people out there, voluntary work, church work, work in the hospital. He's a cardiologist. And it'd be great if I could hook him up with Roger to see what those guys are both doing in Malawi. That'd be fantastic. Oh, wow. Loads of single pot still. It's a whiskey. Same question, mate. 12. Elon Musk. Why Elon Musk, Alex? I know you have an obsession with this guy. What is it about him that's so great? What is it about Elon Musk? Choicer, my OC and Cuphead. I'm amazing in my Irish accent. Also, hello. Nice to have you here. Where are you from? Are you from Ireland, or have you just practiced getting an Irish accent? Hello, Nastya. Who would you most like? In fact, actually, Nastya's just showed up in the comments. This was the student who reminded me about this question. So, Nastya, who is it for you? Tell us who you would most like to have dinner with. You're from the UK. Welcome. Whereabouts in the UK are you from, Chaucer? Am I saying it correctly, Chaucer? And Alex, what about Elon Musk? You put an exclamation mark. What is your obsession with Elon Musk? One thing I remember about this guy is Elon Musk. It says that I think he plans out every 5 minutes of his day. What's your opinion on that? Is that like overkill? Is that too much? I guess he's busy, he's efficient, he gets stuff done, he's passionate about what he does, but like 5 minutes? I don't know, that's crazy. I don't think I could do that. Could you? Could you guys plan out that much? Engineering, business, and saving the world. So how exactly is he saving the world? You couldn't do it. I couldn't, like, I don't know, maybe half an hour slots or 1 hour slots, but 5 minute slots, just absolutely no way. I think that's like too intense, too much. Like, what if you schedule a call with someone and they're 1 minute late? That's like 20%. I know that's some math. 20% of your 5 minutes gone. I mean, what do you do with this? It's like, I think you're setting yourself up for failure, because you can't organize life that much, can you? I can't. Any other suggestions who people would like to have on their first dinner date? I've given Roger Federer. We've heard about Elon Musk. Anybody else got any other suggestions? Got 9 people showed up. There are not 9 people in the comments yet. Please let me know where you're from. I think I've got 4 people commenting so far. That's quite nice. Kate says apparently not too much for him. That's Elon Musk. Wouldn't be able to do that myself, though. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with Alex. What about you, Chaucer? Could you deal with this? You want to go to space? Nice. Elon Musk would be a good person to have dinner with. David Bowie. Interesting suggestion, Nasty. What's your reason for this? How do other people feel about this? Is it because of the music? Is it because of the lifestyle? What's the so special about David Bowie? Absolute icon in my country. Just while people are thinking, I've got another question I'd like to ask everybody. If you're watching this, you probably know I'm a teacher, and it's been going through my mind quite a bit. Should people learn English in English, or should people learn English in their mother tongue, in their native language? What do you guys think? Should people learn English in English, or people learn English in their first language? English in French, English in Russian, English in Latvian, English in German, English in Spanish. What do you guys think? This is something that, I've been thinking about it for the last 3 years as I've been teaching English. What's the best way to do this? Any suggestions would be fantastic. Kate likes your suggestion, Nastya. David Bowie is a great choice. Alex, only because I guess this must be about Elon Musk. Only because of him, electric cars became so popular. He builds the best rockets and sustainable rockets. Solar City is, as every single one of his products, ahead of competition by general. What's Solar City? I understood everything else, Alex. What's the Solar City? I don't know what that is. This is Bob. Cool. Starting English in L1 to get a hang of vocabulary, then English only. That's an interesting one. So the school I taught in, I think our youngest students were maybe 3 years old up until adult age, and generally because it was an IH school, an international high school, which is around the world. The school encourages the communicative method, which is as far as possible, 100% in English. However, you would find that with the younger children or the lower levels, very good to start at least with some L1. So in my school it was some Latvian and some Russian, because there's very few, as Alex says, the vocabs are very low. You can't really do anything. Like, what are the advantages of using just English, or what are the advantages of using your own language? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you, Nastya. This is about back to David Bowie. I would like to know how he was in real life. I love his music and lyrics. Fantastic. That'll be a very interesting dinner conversation, I have to say. I think you'd really have a nice meal. Have 3 courses, and you could discuss everything about life, your life, his life. Maybe find out the inspiration behind the lyrics. Be the same for anyone who's involved in the arts, authors, film stars, directors, painters. You could really find out where these individuals are coming from and get an insight into what's going on in their mind. Here's a question for everyone. I'm going to put it out there. What would you do if you had 10 seconds to live? Like, I don't know, Usain Bolt could run the 100 meters and have a little bit of time to spare. I don't think anyone else in this live feed could do that. What was his record? 9.6 something or other. What would I do if I had 10 seconds to live? I don't know. I have no idea what I would do. Here we go. Solar City. Thank you, Alexander. Basically, solar panels, better than any solar panels, more effective. And soon they'll release solar panels roofs. It looks like basic roofs. You'll be able to not pay for electricity, really. So is it just do a backflip? Can you actually do a backflip, though? All green, even if you live in Latvia. But yeah, there's no sun in Latvia. How does that work? What about northern countries? Northern Ireland, Latvia, Russia, Canada, Finland, Norway, Sweden. Does it work for these? Does it work for these countries? No, but it wouldn't change much. Yeah, I wouldn't know either. It's still a good question. It's good to ask questions where you're not sure of the answer. That's it. That's interesting. Anybody else any suggestions for 10 seconds to live, what they would do? Like, if I could do a backflip, that'd be a great way to spend the last 10 seconds of your life. I don't think 10 seconds is enough time to learn how to do a backflip, but that'll be a good way to go. I do have one like party trick that I can do. I'm not gonna show in this video, but that might happen at some stage. Has anybody seen the movie Jungle Book, the original version, the animated Disney version? Has anybody seen Jungle Book? Let me know. Otherwise, the party trick doesn't really make any sense. Any more thoughts about English, by the way, people? I've got a few things that I can share about actually from my students. So go back to what the question was: should people learn English in English or in their own native tongue, their mother tongue, their native language? What are the advantages of just in English, and what are the advantages of using your own language? It'd be good to have a conversation here. Here's some more comments about Alex, or about Latvia. Thanks, Alex. More or less, we still get light, not as intense though. Maybe we would focus more on wind power. Elon Musk does that too in Australia, for example. You know everything about this guy. Is this you, Choicer? Your last 10 seconds, you would smile. That's a good thing to do. That might make a difference to someone's life. Fantastic. I'm going to read some comments from some of my students about the English and not English debate. These are fantastic. A student of mine called Kate, not the Kate who's in the live feed. This is what they have to say. We should minimize L1 and maximize English to learn to think in English, not only in the classroom, but outside it as well. This helps to improve our fluency and develop our ability to think quickly. I mean, that's amazing, right? So this student, Kate, is highlighting that it's not about the classroom, it's about outside the classroom, it's real life. Improve our fluency and develop our ability to think quickly. What does everyone think about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Bob is riding a taxi. What's this a picture of, Joyce? I can't quite see from in the comments. So what does everybody think about what Kate has to say? I'll read another one while we're waiting. Dennis. Brilliant comment from Dennis. Kind of linked to geography, which something I'm also very interested in. Students mustn't feel borders while they are talking in a class. Like historically and maybe in present day, the border between two countries can sometimes cause some problems. Like in the British news recently, I'm sure in the world news, there's been some problems between Georgia and Russia, kind of the border areas around there. So Dennis's comment, absolutely fantastic. Students mustn't feel borders while they're talking in a class. You can imagine if you can't, how do you put this? If you're not comfortable and natural in the classroom, what happens when you go out there? For example, when you come to my country, Northern Ireland, where people speak crazy, very fast, much stronger accent than I have. If you're not comfortable in a classroom, how are you going to survive in this natural environment? It's pretty crazy. Again, let me know what you guys think. This video is supposed to be a chat, a hangout, a conversation. A smile in a taxi. The smile is Bob. Thank you, Bob. That's another very good thing to do in your last 10 seconds. Let's see what Kate has to say. In the beginning, it's kind of impossible to jump straight into English, not knowing literally anything, but then at some point, using the native language becomes useless. Yeah, fair. So good that you wrote it twice. Emily, thank you. I think using your own language, your mother tongue, can be really useful to learn any language, although experts believe that it's not the best option. Thinking in my own language has always helped me. So Emily, does that help your fluency, or does it just help you think about what you want to say? Because this is a really important point. Should you think in English, or should you think in your own language? So Emily, does thinking in your own language, French, I think, does that help you say what you want to say in a fluent way? Speaking as well as writing, for example. Alex, if you give a 6-year-old, here comes maths, I like it. If you give a 6-year-old a paper full of calculus equations, he will never do even one task. I don't see how it is different from language. But why would you give a 6-year-old calculus? I suppose if you're teaching a language, certainly a foreign language, you're going to want to give them tasks that are appropriate to what 6-year-olds do. Hey, there's no 6-year-olds watching, but what do 6-year-olds do? I don't know, animals, coloring in, playing games. And I guess as far as possible, you want to use English or the target language, but not like obsess about it, maybe at higher levels. Nice comment, Alex. Where do you come from? You don't have to answer if you feel uncomfortable. You guys have all answered the question. I'm from Belfast, capital city of Northern Ireland. Absolutely comfortable with that. Where have I lived now? I lived in Northern Ireland for 18 years, then England for 11 years, and Latvia for 3 years, and I'm now back in Northern Ireland for 1 week. So if there's anybody from Northern Ireland listening, and you're wondering that my accent's a bit strange, it is, because I travelled. I left here kind of permanently in 2004. That's quite a while ago. So my accent's a little bit messed up. Alex, again, the situation is not much different if you give a humanitarian the same paper. Yeah, that's probably true. Gonna read another comment from one of my students. Ignati, this student's a slightly lower level. This is just gold dust. Let me know what you guys think. This is brilliant. Speaking other languages can disturb our progress in learning English and can disturb the atmosphere of the class. Speaking other languages, can disturb our progress in learning English and can disturb the atmosphere of the class. What do you guys think? Is using your own language or any other language, a second language, if English is your third or fourth, does that disturb the atmosphere of the class? Emily, yes, it's French. Yes, it definitely helps me to put words on my ideas. It helps mostly when I write. Yeah, writing's completely different to speaking. Generally, writing, you have more time. You can think about what you want to say, and maybe you can express yourself in a more coherent way, in a more detailed way. Whereas with speaking, most people just speak without thinking, as I'm doing right now. Some notes guiding me with what my students have said, but people generally just speak without thinking. This is Brennan. Thank you for your comment, Emily. It's really nice to hear this. In Mauritius, we have English speakers coming from all over the world with their own expressions. I mean, what's the population of Mauritius? It's a small island, isn't it? And so where would these English speakers come from? Would you have American English, British English, Irish English, Australian English? Tell us a little bit more about Mauritius, Emily. That'd be fantastic. Kate had to leave because her Wi-Fi is down. That's fine, Alex. We know you'll take control of things. Kind of hard to learn proper English. Of course it is. I mean, what is proper English? What is proper English? What is proper French? What is proper Russian? What is proper Chinese? What does that mean? Surely it depends on who you're speaking to, who you're writing to, and I mean, from my point of view, it's about communication. You have to make sure that the person you're communicating with understands. And if you do that using formal language, great. If you do it using slang language, more relaxed language, that's also great. It's about communicating a message. It has to be. Has to be about communication. What's the square root of 3 divided by 13 plus 35? That's what a calculator's for. Absolutely. A picture of a flag with a part of the world on it. What's this in relation to? I'm a bit lost. Yeah, and somehow Donald Trump still won the election without thinking of what he's saying. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't want to. Maybe it's not a safe place, the internet, for me to give my view on Donald Trump. I'll probably just agree with what Alex says. Yeah, this man doesn't think of what he's saying. Like we have I don't know if people have heard, we have there's going to be a new Prime Minister in the UK quite soon, down to the last two candidates, Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson. Does anybody care? Does anybody know? Does anybody believe what they say? Does anybody think Brexit's going to happen with any confidence? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the whole thing's a disaster. Theresa May, the Conservative Party, had a long time to get this to happen. And why should either of these people? Why should it be any different? I mean, Jeremy Hunt, like whenever it was the original vote, he was like Theresa May. He said remain. He didn't want to leave. And Boris Johnson's always wanted to leave, but why should he make it happen? I think the whole thing's ridiculous. Richard Lloyd, 0.036. Alex, is that rounded or is that just is that the precise answer? It can't be, because the square root of 3 is an irrational number, so it can't be a rational number you've written. Richard Lloyd. Hi, Richard. Nice to see you. Where are you from, Richard? Can you say a sentence in Northern Irish as a springboard to getting to grips with the accent? Yeah, I absolutely can. How now, Brian Cow. So, like, if you want to have a Northern Irish accent, it's the vowels that are different, or should I say the vowels. So most of them become shorter. So rather than say how, we say hi, now, Brian, Cow. Like, if you can do that sound kind of quite harsh and short, then you're well on your way to being fluent in Northern Irish. Does that make sense, Richard? That would be the first bit of advice that I would give you. You want to shorten the vowel sounds. Do you want I can give you more advice if you're looking for it. 3.6 times 10 to the minus 2 if you're a physicist. Edinburgh. I'm not gonna try and do a Scottish accent. How did you find this channel, Richard? Emily, this is where all your English teachers in Mauritius come from. Nice. America, Great Britain, Canada, India, Australia. Mauritius is a small yet popular country with a strong economy and political stability. I guess it attracts professionals, yeah. This message is held for review, Alex. It does. YouTube doesn't like what you have to say. I'm going to show it. Nothing wrong with it. Very few Irish, unfortunately. I mean, Northern Ireland has about 1.8 million people, Amelia, and I think the Republic of Ireland has about. Someone could put it in Google. Alex, put it in Google for me, please. It's about 5.5 million people, I think, in the Republic of Ireland, so much smaller than the other countries, Canada, America, India, South Africa, that you mentioned. Hey, Richard. I got that one. Do you have any others that are similar? Yeah. So my people's favorite, my students, lots of my students in Latvia, who were native Russian speakers, are called Katerina, shortened to Katya or Kate. But in Northern Irish, Kate becomes Kate. Eight. Late. Again, that long vowel sound becomes shorter. And again, I'm saying it in two different ways. Vowel, vowel. Eight in, I guess, like British English. Eight in Northern Irish English. You're late, mate. Something like this. There's the second one. If you want more, Richard, I can keep bringing them. I'm an actor and have been using your channel recently to help build up. Nice. Are you a full-time actor, or just doing it kind of on freelance? And I mean, have you had some Northern Irish roles specifically, or are you just trying to expand your repertoire? It's nice to have all sorts of people here. One of my videos, I think it's which one is it? I think it's the how to do a Northern Irish accent, has like 20,000 views or something. So a lot of people type in Northern Irish accent. I don't know if you guys have done this. It shows up and people watch this video. I mean, it's a terrible video. It's I think I recorded it in January or something, before I got better lighting and camera and audio. But apparently it's what people want to see. People search Northern Irish accent. I think you can put this into YouTube now or Google, and I appear like in second or third position. People try that. Try it and see if it's actually right. Full-time actor, but yes, branching out. No, it's nice. It's great to have you here, Richard. I had one gentleman who, from Canada, living in Denmark, a part-time actor, so not full-time, and he had a role as a Northern Irish. I can't remember the backstory for the play. It was just a little local play somewhere in Copenhagen, and he actually wanted to speak to me, as a dialect coach, which is the first time I've done it, which is kind of cool. His Northern Irish accent was okay, and he asked me to sort of help him, to guide him through specifically how to make these sounds. I mean, being an actor, he knew how to control his voice and how to make sounds much better than me. But he just wasn't sure in the Northern Irish. We had a conversation for an hour. Sent him some notes, and then he said he absolutely smashed the performance, which is fantastic. It's a really difficult accent to have, Richard. So I completely understand what you're talking about. Alex, going to Denmark mid-July. Maybe you guys can hook up and see what's happened. Right, I'm going to get back to another comment from a student about English or your native language. So just to remind you what the question was, should you learn English in English or your native language? And this is one from Dasha. This is just so blunt. I love it. We come here, this is the school I taught in, to study English, not Russian or Latvian. We pay money to study English here. Good reason. Fantastic. As soon as my students, as soon as my students left the classroom, they would either in the street speak Russian or speak Latvian. And some of them said to me, even the extremely high level, said that aside from the internet, their only opportunity to speak English was in class. So I think they had 3 hours a week, 3 hours, Northern Irish, 3 hours a week, and this was it. They paid for it. That's why they came to school, to have this opportunity. So really, really important. Fantastic, Dasha. I mean, in the country that you come from, are there opportunities to speak English? I mean, if you're from the UK, that's not such an interesting question. But if you're from somewhere else, do you have the opportunity to speak English? That's a nice line for your CV. Which bit, Alex? About the dialect coach? That would be cool. I'd never thought about it. But there you go. Okay, let's have another comment from a student here. From another advanced student of mine, Olga. English is one of the most popular languages, so it's easier to find information about something in English. So maximizing English would make students, and my life in particular, easier. So I guess this isn't Olga necessarily saying that I think Russian, her first language, you shouldn't use Russian in the classroom, but she is identifying the importance of English in her life. That's it. I don't know, maybe in 20 or 30 years, Mandarin Chinese will be more important. I don't know. But right now, it seems that in lots of places in Europe and other parts of the world, English is really important. I think that's what Olga's saying. Nice one from Christopher. If we don't use L1 in class, we start to think in English, and that's very useful. Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant. I'm going to put a different question out there. I think you guys are not so interested in this English or native language question. Let's try this one. What's the best country you've been to and why? Brilliant question, classic question. What's the best country you've been to and why? Please type in the comments. Let me know. I'll give my opinion. I can share some of the good stuff about the countries I've been to. What's the best country you've been to and why? Let's see what's happening. People are too lazy for Chinese to be important. It's an interesting one, Alexander. People are too lazy for Chinese to be important. What does everybody think? If you're wondering why I keep looking down, it's because my laptop's here, and right in this corner here is where all your notes are, or all your comments are. So that's why I'm looking down and not looking at the camera. Emily. How do I pronounce this correctly, Emily? I'm pronouncing it terribly. You're going to have to teach me. English is the official language in Mauritius. We all speak French and English. When we talk to each other, we speak French, but when we write, we mostly use English. That's crazy. That's something I find very difficult to understand, because coming from Northern Ireland, the UK, everything is in English. Very few people here, relative to other countries, speak a second or a third or a fourth language. So the idea of speaking in one language and writing in another language is crazy. Why does everybody write in English and speak in French? Is it from an administrative point of view? What's the reason for that? I'd love to know. Please tell me about the countries. Got 7 people here. I'd love to know everyone's the best country everyone's been to and why. I'm not going to share some of my favorite countries until I get some comments from you guys. Thanks, Alex. England. People are kind and more open. Love the cities. Love the culture. Love the traffic. What does that mean? You love the traffic? Architecture, accent, language. I pretty much want to get a citizenship. I pretty much want to get citizenship, even if they leave the EU. Everything comes back to Brexit. Honestly, Alex, if you like England and you think the people there are friendly and open, you've got to come to Ireland. Ireland, Northern Ireland, the whole island. So much more friendly. Maybe I'm biased, but get yourself across the water, across the Irish Sea to Northern Ireland, and you won't regret it. Was it the border to Czech Republic? Hey? What? I don't understand. The border of the Czech. Yeah. I have an interesting story about the about the border of the Czech Republic. Would you guys like to hear it? Maybe some of you have heard it. I don't know. Maybe some of you haven't. Hey, let's go. 2007. I was traveling around Europe for 1 month with one of my best friends, a guy who I studied maths at university with, called Mike. We traveled from, where was it now? From Eindhoven in the Netherlands, and we were trying to get to Prague in the Czech Republic. And we decided we were going to hitchhike. So no money, nowhere to stay. We packed a tent, some like makeshift food that you pour water in and boil it. And we had like we had gas and a stove so we could cook and have tea and things like this. But long story short, as we were traveling along the Autobahn going east from Germany to the Czech Republic, some guy in a lorry picked us up. Actually, the first person in a lorry to pick us up, which is a little bit crazy. And he, when we got, this is crazy. When we got close to the border, he sort of ushered to one of us, like we need to go behind, the bit sort of over their shoulder where they sleep. They park for the night and then they sleep. And he didn't speak any English. We didn't speak Czech. We tried, German, French, Russian, some other language we spoke a little bit of, but he didn't speak anything other than Czech. So Mike jumped in behind and hid under his sleeping bag and his duvet and stuff like this. And meanwhile, I sat there with my British passport, this guy with his Czech passport, and we came to the border. And the border patrol, they didn't ask us any questions, but they looked at us like, "You guys don't know each other. This is crazy." So effectively, there was a little bit of being smuggled into the Czech Republic. Great country, by the way. Has anyone been to the Czech Republic? It's a good country. Alex, that's a terrible pun. Love the road system, more roundabouts. They're going the right way. So I've only got one person who has commented their favorite country and why. That's England. I've told you a little bit about the Czech Republic, or at least how I got into it. Please comment what's the best country you've been to and why. Thank you. Thank you for the response from Mauritius. We're used to it. But indeed, English is used for all official documents. I find it easier to send messages in English, though I love my mother tongue. I speak 5 languages. My name is Hebrew. That's incredible. I mean, it's great having you here. A nice multicultural appearance on the channel makes such a difference. Like, is this something that happened from a young age? Or is this something that happens from a young age in the country? Or just from teenage years or adult years, or do people have a choice? I just find it very interesting that, writing in English and speaking a different language, it sounds very interesting. I'm going to throw out a country that I like. 1 second. Slovenia. I'm going to type it in the comments. Gonna join in. Crazy. Has anyone been to the country of Slovenia? Be great if there were people from Slovenia, but we're here, but there's only 4 of you, so they're highly unlikely. I went to this country in 2010. Highly, highly recommended. Really small country. Just incredible. Fantastic history. You have obviously the link with Yugoslavia in the Balkan area. So you've got that aspect of culture. Then they become quite close to Italy and Austria and Germany. So you've got those links. And you've got beaches, very small beach. You've got mountains. You've got caves. You've got lakes. Just an incredible place. I mean, in 2010, this was before the country kind of became how do you say this? Became saturated with tourists. So there weren't English speaking tourists ever, because you know how it is when you go to various countries, you get tourists from all over, and it changes everything. The place wasn't real. I went with a couple of friends, and we stayed in, where did we stay? We stayed in like dorms and hostels. I think we stayed in a hotel maybe once. I can't quite remember. But just the nature of the country was incredible. The cost was quite cheap. Food was good. I've not been back. It was 9 years ago, but I suspect it will have changed. Maybe it's become a bit more like Croatia, destroyed, not destroyed, but changed by tourists. If you get a chance, folks, go to Slovenia. It's amazing. Any other countries that people want to share? I'm going to throw out another question just while we're thinking about this. This one comes back to teaching. Do you think we will still need physical classrooms in 20 years? Do you think we will still need physical classrooms in 20 years? What's your opinion? It's 45 minutes. It's crazy. How's the lighting, by the way? Is it okay? Like in the sound, it's also okay. I can move the camera. In fact, no, I'm not going to move the camera. It might destroy the connection. I don't think everyone is up to speed with live stream. What do you mean, Alex? As in they don't know to comment, or they're just not here? I think that the first live stream I did, I had like 20 people at some stage. This time I think the maximum I had was 7 or 8. I don't know. It's just the way it goes. Maybe Friday night, everybody's out having a great time. Nastya, hey. Can't say about the best country, but St. Petersburg was just great. So unforgettable memories from that trip. I wouldn't say Russia is the best country, but St. Petersburg is probably the best city. Fantastic. Yeah, I remember you sharing in class and you had an excursion to St. Petersburg. I think it's very popular. It's only an overnight coach from Riga. Lots of people speak Russian in Latvia, so it seems an obvious destination. I was in St. Petersburg in 2012. Fantastic place. Like the architecture and the culture is just, yeah, I'm with Nastya. Absolutely outstanding. If you've not been, you've got to visit it. Like without a doubt, for me, the Hermitage is just the best museum out there. It's amazing. I was there in April 2012, and the temperature was like -10 degrees in the middle of April. The river, the Neva, was still frozen, like completely frozen. You put on the wind chill, it was like -15, -20, and like my regular coat for Northern Ireland, where it's like 5 degrees in the winter, just didn't work. But despite all that, I still love St. Petersburg. I still got those memories of being far too cold, but incredible place. I'd like to go back, I don't know, in summer or when it isn't -15. But yeah, Slovenia, St. Petersburg, these are fantastic places. Yeah, the internet connection isn't as good. Yeah, like, I mean, can you actually hear me? I don't know. You think classrooms? You think we will need it? If you're studying natural sciences, you can't do that through the screen with all the experiments. That's a fair point. Yeah. Hey, Emily. No, thank you for your message. You've got to go. You have a great time. Keep it up. I'll do my best. I think there'll be less physical teachers, unfortunately. It's a pity. I mean, it's a great question. There's no doubt that certain aspects of the digital world help. I know some of my students would use apps to just free apps like Quizlet, Duolingo, all this stuff here, just to help their vocabulary. Like, they're sitting on the bus or the train or whatever, and they're just practicing the vocabulary. 5 minutes. That's something that before the onset of the internet and the digital world, this wasn't possible. So you can like get surrounded in the language. That's something that doesn't need teachers. That needs people who can use tech. But I mean, I'm with you, Alex. I'm with you, Emily. There are certain things where you just need to have a connection. I absolutely loved my job the last 3 years. It was the relationship you have with the students, like face to face. It's incredible. I think there will be less classrooms, but for certain subjects, again, as Alex says, you need to do it. You cannot do it through a screen, or not yet anyway. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Richard, can you pronounce the following in Northern Irish, please? Yes, I can. Cake, main, date, day, bacon, play, way, waste. I'll go again. Cake, main, date, day, bacon, play, way, waste. One more time. And this is something you should practice. Like anybody who wants to improve their pronunciation or have a specific accent, best thing to do is to find out how to make the specific sounds, get yourself in front of a mirror, and then practice making them. And it's just repetition. You have to train your mouth to make the sounds that you're trying to make. It's not, unless you're doing it from birth, it's not natural. It all happens right here. Your mouth position, your throat, all sorts going on. You've really got to work hard. I'll pull it out one more time here for you, Richard. Cake, main, date, day, bacon, play, way, waste. Hello, someone from the US. Sub to me, I don't think so. Alex, you deleted all social media 2 days ago, so that's why I haven't seen you on Instagram or Facebook. But for you interfering with your studies, but surely you're not studying at the minute. Is it not the holiday season, like it's June? Or is this like a extra private study? Nastya, I'll throw this out to everybody. I'm going to Barcelona soon. Do you have any advice what to visit there? Has anybody in the live stream been to Barcelona? I've not been to Barcelona, so I'm not going to give any advice. Like is it the church, the Sagrada Familia or something like that? I don't know. That's about all I know. The football team, the new camp. But if you're not interested in football or soccer, why would you want to do this? Anybody give Nasty some advice about Barcelona? Alex, so as much as digital helps, studies say the students can't focus on their studies for more than 5 minutes. I decided I want to attend a fancy school, fancy university. Hey Amelia, thanks for showing up. Another one of my students. Amelia, are you going to give some advice on Barcelona? And what's other, we heard England, St. Petersburg, Slovenia, any other countries? What's your favorite country? What's the best country you've been to and why? Let's keep this conversation going. Hey, Amelia, how are you? What have you been up to on Friday? You don't know about Barcelona, okay? What have you been doing today? And what's your best country? What's the best country you visited? That's just a fantastic question. And while everyone's thinking of that, I'm going to give you some more comments that a student said. So this is getting back to the original question I asked. What was it? I've nearly forgotten. Should you learn English in English or your native language? This is from Dina. If someone starts speaking at one moment in Russian, our brain stops learning because it relaxes and switches off. That's quite a strong comment. That's basically saying that as soon as someone switches to your first language, like your brain just switches off and forgets about English. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with Dina on this one, but it's just a thought. Something from Nastya, different Nastya than the one in the comments. Research says you need 10,000 hours to master a skill. That's like speaking a language, playing a sport, just basically doing anything, profession. Obviously, if you come to the classroom and you spend more time in English or whatever language you're learning, you're getting some of those 10,000 hours. As someone who remains anonymous, full immersion in the target language. That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to it. Someone else likes England. Nice. Like, why all the love for England? Guys, this is crazy. I should be working for the Northern Irish Tourism Board, but Northern Ireland and Ireland are so much better than England. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that's just my opinion. Why, Amelia, why did you like England? Tell us why you liked England. That's a really rough estimate, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's, see, this is what I like. You know, you and I are in some ways similar, Alex. You know, $10,000. It's just a generalization. You know, someone did some studies, someone did research, and apparently that's how it went. $10,000. I don't know. There's forgotten the name, but there's quite a famous person who, you know, was average size, a pretty normal guy in their 20s. Nothing special about their athletic build, but they wanted to try table tennis for $10,000 just to see how it worked. There was a YouTube series about it. It was in the news and the BBC in the UK. And they picked table tennis because it's relatively easy to pick up, and you don't need to be super fast or super strong. So it's not as much about natural ability, maybe, as some other sports. Did $10,000 in a year, and they got to quite a good level. You know, like at the top of their club, from having never played before. But I mean, they were never. This person was never going to make it as a professional. I mean, there's not a lot of money in ping pong or table tennis anyway. But it was a really interesting experiment. This guy basically heard $10,000 to master something. I'm going to try it. And yeah, I'm not sure how it works out. You really enjoyed the atmosphere. Nice. If you enjoy the atmosphere in England, you should visit Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Ireland. These are fantastic places. Got a comment here from Michal. This is again about learning a language. To raise competitiveness amongst English-spoken people, the more languages you speak, the more advanced you are. To prepare ourselves for studying, working, and living abroad. This is about being competitive, about being more advanced, studying, working, living. It so happened that actually quite a lot of my students in Latvia for the past 3 years, in some ways we're studying English to try and leave Latvia. So I felt a little bit bad. You know, there's a lot of things happening in Latvia at the minute. One of them is like the population is sort of gently declining, and that's a little bit sad. So maybe I shouldn't have been there teaching English and helping people leave the country. But I don't know. That's maybe a conversation for another day. Nice. Okay, folks, I'm going to read a couple more comments. This is slightly different. So this is still about the English and not English idea. These are my students answering, how does this happen in the classroom? So again, back to the original question, the importance of using English in the classroom and how does this happen? Here's what some of my students say. If you're listening, you might recognize the name. Arseny says, our teacher doesn't talk a lot, so he gives us the opportunity. Yeah, like some teachers, I don't know what it's like in your school or what it was like in your school. Some teachers talk a lot. No, I don't think that's necessarily the best thing in a language classroom. So nice comment from Arseny. Fred says, specific limitations, so we don't even have time to think in our native languages. I think what he's saying is that there are specific times. If you say in the classroom, you say, okay, you've got 5 minutes on this task, and speaking about English or doing an exercise or a role play or whatever, you don't really have the chance. It's like, okay, this is the task, go and do it. And it's harder to sort of talk about the weather or what you did last night or movies or whatever in your own language. Anonymous person says, moving around the classroom, we don't get bored. Keeps it simple. Nice way to speak more in the language that you're looking for. Good, nice to hear, Alex. You're challenging what's being said. Competition in class only works for a certain group of people. I'm one of them, but we need to decrease it as much as we can, really. People wanting competition will find it no matter what, again, in my opinion. So do you mean, Alex, that in general, in a classroom, people being competitive should be decreased? or just decrease for certain people? Could you clarify this comment? Because surely it's healthy. Healthy competition. Think about sport. Healthy competition helps, doesn't it? You know, from my point of view with tennis right now, Roger Federer has 20 Grand Slams. The biggest titles: Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open. Rafael Nadal just won his 18th, and Novak Djokovic has 15. And part of the reason why these guys are still playing at the top of the game is because they're so competitive. I mean, you can be sure, he'll never say this, Nadal wants more than 20. Djokovic wants to overtake Nadal and then overtake Federer. Like, being competitive. And these guys aren't crazy. It's healthy. It drives you on and motivates you. Can it not be the same in the classroom? In general, competition ruins people not as talented. Okay, really important question, folks. Is it about talent or is it about hard work? Like, I need to know what you think. Is it about talent or hard work? Like, this is again a question that's come up so much in my classroom this year. Talent or hard work? Because what I would maybe say here, Alex, is that, I mean, I like your point. Competition ruins people not as talented, but with hard work, surely they can excel. No? Is hard work enough, or does it require both? Please. I've still only got 3 people here, but what do you 3 think? Talent or hard work? Which is more important? I'm going to give you some more student ideas about how to maximize the amount of English that happens in the classroom. This is one from Alex, different Alex in the comments. Unlike most teachers and the book, we often make our own questions, and you have to think a lot to do this. So rather than, just to explain this one, rather than here's the 3 questions in the book, lower level. What did you do last night? What are you doing tonight? What will you do in 2? Whatever. I felt it was really useful to ask students to make their own questions. If nothing else, it's important to know how to form questions, written and spoken. And then also that gave students the opportunity to ask questions that they wanted to. If you're interested in volleyball, you can speak about volleyball. If you're interested in fashion, you can ask a question about fashion, so long as it related to the grammar point or the vocabulary set that was in the book. I think that, from my point of view, like, I'm sure there's no teachers watching this, but if there were, that's like one of the best bits of advice I would give any language teacher. Let your students make the questions. Don't just use the questions in the book. They're written by some publisher, I don't know, Oxford or Cambridge or something like this. Let your students make the questions. It's a fantastic way to help. Hard work. Okay, so Amelia, you're saying hard work is more important? Or what exactly do you mean? Okay, Alex, let's go. Some people will work their socks off. Brilliant phrase, work their socks off. Nice little idiom. Basically means you work as hard as you possibly can. I don't know if you have this in other languages, but work your socks off. Brilliant idiom. To get a 9 in maths, perhaps they will never get it. For me, it comes without any work. But again, some people get 10s in history, and my mind is not made for it. Okay, Alex, give us a specific example. If you worked your socks off in history, could you get an 8, a 9, or a 10? Let's be direct. If you worked your socks off in history, could you get that same mark that you get in math or physics? Let's put some pressure on. Brilliant question from Nastya. Also about questions in the classroom. We speak about some philosophical questions. We tell each other our thoughts and our opinions. I had like 4 or 5 Nastyas last year. I'm not sure which one this is. We speak about some philosophical questions. We tell each other our thoughts and our opinions. That's great. That's just personal. I mean, language should be personal. Yes, if you're looking at maths, you've got these equations, you've got these formulas. Yes, physics, you've got these rules. Biology, you've got to learn about the body. But to some extent, learning can be personal. Otherwise, what's the point? Are you learning just to pass a test? Or is it something you're going to actually use in life? I mean, you might not know at age 12 or 13, but it's good to keep these doors open, I think. So, I mean, hard work or talent, what does everybody think? I'm going to keep going through these comments. This is Mihal, a different Mihal. We aren't allowed to use Russian language during our lessons. This is an advanced student. It's as simple as that. As far as I was concerned, one of the rules of the school was the students aren't allowed to use Russian or Latvian, so I didn't let them use it. That's it. Like we had a discipline system and a reward system called pizza points. So dear me, why am I explaining this? So there was there were 30 points available each lesson, and there was some fixing from certain classes. And then there were 6 categories, 6 5s or 30. You got 5 points if you didn't use Russian or Latvian in class, if you arrived on time, did your homework, behaved, all that sort of generic stuff. And then at the end of each month, at each different age group, which was 4 or 5, the highest would win pizza. So I think this year one of my classes got pizza a couple of times. The previous year I didn't get it at all, and then the year before that maybe 3 times. Just because it was a rule, and generally speaking, a lot of students will follow the rules. One from Stephanie. I love it. The atmosphere in our class is like that in a coffee shop, or coffee house, she calls it. We have the opportunity to speak a lot, share our views and our experiences. Lots of common things coming through here. It's all about being personal. Alex, nice. Thank you for following up. Why would they put me against a historian in history? They don't really have to study, just attend classes. Amelia, I prepare for each test of history for hours, but I still can't get a good mark. So Amelia, is this a good mark relative to other subjects? So would your mark in English, Russian, Latvian, geography, and other subjects, science, would it be higher than your history mark? Just to explain for us. You can't remember. Is that because history is facts rather than understanding? I'm not an expert in history, but if I was to make an assessment, certainly I know in the Latvian curriculum you'd have to learn lots of dates and facts and information about Latvian history, and then maybe when you're older you have to give your opinion on it, which is more about writing and kind of English, Latvian, and Russian. But sometimes just remembering facts seems a bit pointless. Whereas, from my point of view in maths and physics, if you understand them, you don't have to remember them because you can figure it out. I could prove Pythagoras' theorem in a few ways just because I remember it and I understand it. It's not complicated, or trigonometry or something like that. But I remember, when I was sort of your age, 14, 15 with history, you just had to remember 500 facts. I'm like, I can't remember them, I'm not interested in them, I don't care. So it's a bit different. Love my country, bro. Hey brother, how are you doing? Nastya, someone is talented, but for someone it's all about hard work. And I believe everybody is talented in their own area. Yeah. I think what we're getting at here is that hard work and talent together are really important. And I think that's okay. I can share my experience. My favorite subject at A level was chemistry. Actually, I enjoyed the experiments, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, things like this. But out of the 3 subjects I did at A level, it was the most difficult for me. Geography was the easiest. I got the top mark in geography. I think it was an A. Then maths was the second easiest. I got a B. I was a little bit disappointed. And chemistry, I had to work really, really hard to get my B. I put in more work in chemistry than maths and geography together, times 10. And I looked at other people who did chemistry, put, maybe less work in and got a much higher mark. Whereas for me in geography, because I was interested in geography from, 3 years old or 4 years old, I got my first atlases. I just did the exam and that was it. It was all stuff that I studied for fun and always studied for fun. So it was just natural, it was easy. So I think there's a combination of talent and hard work, and it's about putting both together. 4 people. Yes, now 5 people here. Maybe someone has shared. Alex, I'm great at figuring things out, but general trivia never stays in my brain. History don't have the right codes to figure out equations, but they can stuff their brain with stuff. This is why we have a world full of different people. Some people just remember facts, and some people love ideas and concepts. There's only 4 or 5 of us here right now, but we're having a really good conversation. So I think it's about, there's different subjects. It's about combining them. It's about working together. And talent and hard work definitely go together. I'm going to put out another comment here from people. So I think one person's just arrived. We're looking at the question: should you learn a language, or should you learn English, for example, in English or in your own language? And I put this to my students a few months ago, and this is how they said that English was maximized in the classroom. Who have we got next? Alina. We usually start our lesson with 3 or 4 questions, which help us to get the right mood and be productive during the lesson. So for those of you who have never been in my classroom, generally speaking, when the students arrive, there are 2, 3, or 4 questions on the board, which will introduce whatever the topic is, the grammar or vocabulary point. And as soon as they come in, I would get 3 or 4 different students to read the question. So immediately they're using English, and then speak to their partner, and then maybe speak in pairs and get some ideas together. And it's nice to hear what Alina's saying, gets them in the right mood and helps them be productive. For me, took me about 3 or 4 months to figure this out when I switched from teaching maths to English, but this made a massive difference. It just gets people speaking, and it really just creates a good atmosphere. A nice one from Nikita. If you're not aware, in Russian-speaking countries, Nikita is a male name. In other countries, it's a female name. This is great. Nikita this is probably my best class, actually. Super advanced. I don't know why, but straight from the beginning, everyone in the class started to talk English, which was unexpected for me. Nikita was maybe 18 years old, 19 years old, also been learning English for a while. And he said, I think it was the school, I think it was the class, everybody was motivated. It's fantastic. Everyone just started. And if you start well, like think about a race or think about a sports contest or anything, studying, training, if you start well, it makes such a difference sort of going forward. Another one from Olga, just before I get back to the comments. We're challenged to try to quickly come up with answers and practice our fluency. I don't know, I guess that's like competition again. I think mostly if you put people under a little bit of pressure, the right amount of pressure, have high expectations, people often do well. And that's what I find, certainly in that class. Hard work. So love my country. Why is hard work more important than talent for you? Why is hard work more important than talent? Okay, I'll leave Alex and love my country. You two can continue your conversation. I'm gonna. You're confusing me. Why? Yeah, you said 3 words in 4 messages. Okay, go for it. You guys keep having a chat. Fantastic. There's still 5 people here. What's next? Arena. Arena, one of my advanced students, 9th formers, 14, 15. She's got, this is what she has to say. We discuss more interesting topics than the book suggests, mostly. Our teacher seems to be interested in teaching us and creating a comfortable atmosphere for everybody, as well as keeping all the students involved in discussion by asking intriguing questions. What does intriguing mean? Intriguing, like interesting questions that generate discussion. I'm going to say something about what Arena says here. Mostly it was the students who asked intriguing questions. It wasn't me. I put responsibility in the students to, responsibility. So it's they're learning, they're helping each other. Yes, I'm the teacher. I will guide you. I will facilitate. But I put the onus, the responsibility in the students to learn. And they would ask questions, and mostly they were intriguing questions. Kate. There are many long speaking tasks where we discuss topics we are related to and have a lot to say about. Moreover, brilliant linker. Moreover, we speak English only in the classroom, which is great. Fantastic. I'm gonna come to the last the last point that I ask my students. So again, getting back to the original question, should you learn English in English or learn English in your own language, your mother tongue, your native language? And ask my students, what else could be done to improve this? Basically, what else can be done to improve the quality of English teaching? This is one where, again, in the comments, if you think of ways that I could improve teaching and teachers can improve, let me know in the comments. What else could be done to improve teaching? Some pictures here. Okay, so that's a question for you guys in the comments. What else can be done to improve the quality of teaching? We've heard about history, we've heard about math, we've heard about physics. I'm speaking mostly about English. What can be done by teachers and by students to improve teaching and learning? Let me know. Here's what some of my students say. Irina, just having discipline and rules. Straight to the point. Love it. And this is one that I didn't do so much. My school didn't really make it possible, but something I'd love to explore. When higher level students teach lower level students, high motivation. So I think Christopher was a 10th former, maybe 15, 16, 17, something like that. And he's saying that maybe he could teach on a high level, maybe he could teach other 10th formers, like to inspire them. Because it worked out that he had a higher level in English. Maybe they had a higher level in, I don't know, in Russian or Latvian. And like team teaching. You can teach your peers, teach your classmates. I think that's a fantastic idea. What do you guys think? I mean, if you're at school, do you have the opportunity to teach other students? If you're not at school and you were at school in the past, did you have the opportunity to teach other students? Or was it just from the teacher? You know, the teacher on the board writing things. Do you think this is a good thing? A lovely one from Philip. Some language games, playing games for spelling and writing. Maybe some of the things that aren't as exciting. Everybody wants to win, so children will try to learn for winning. Alex, you've been speaking about competition. What do you think about this? Everybody wants to win. Do you think is that a positive thing, or can that sometimes be dangerous? Everybody wants to win. Is that a problem? Not giving homework. English plus L1 for start, only English later. I really like that. I mean, I think Kate said that earlier. Alex is saying this now. I'm starting to believe this is really important. English plus L1, that's your native language to start, and then only English later. Best education is individual, in my opinion. For those of you who don't know, IMO, the abbreviation, not the abbreviation, the acronym stands for in my opinion. So it's certainly if you're using texts or Facebook, social media, shorthand is a much better way to go. IMO, in my opinion. Guys, put some more acronyms in the live comments, and I can explain what they mean. Fantastic. Not giving homework. Well, seriously, some of you guys are at school. Is it good to give homework or not? Think about it from a learning point of view. I'm a teacher. I'm open to your opinion. I hear what you say. I love my country, and persuade me. Why should teachers not give homework? Convince me. Teachers should stop. Nasty. Love it. Fantastic. Teachers should stop saying that the grades we get will decide our lives. Okay, Nasty, just on a personal point of view, did I ever say this? If I did, I'm very sorry, but did I ever say this? Or is this about state school? I feel a little bit bad now. Best education is individual. So good comment, Alex. How can that happen in a classroom? So my classrooms, as a lot of language learning classrooms are, had a maximum of 12. When I taught maths, I had one class that had 36 students, and most of them were about 25 to 30. When I was studying in school for 13, 14 years, between 20 and 30. How can that be individual? I'm going to put that out there. How can that be individual? No homework because we anyway copy it from each other. But are there, okay, no thanks, love my country, I appreciate that. Yeah, I totally agree. If If students are just going to copy from other students, what's the point? Like, copying doesn't help anybody learn anything, does it? Okay, I might have to go and get another glass of water soon. Copying doesn't help. So I think the question that you're raising here, Love My Country, is homework should have a purpose. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, everything should have a purpose. So, like, I mean, I probably didn't set very good homeworks this year. I mean, Nasty and Amelia, you two can comment. The usual homework I set, I think, was maybe between 5 and 10 minutes once a week. So it was very short. And it was often a fairly dull exercise just to practice the grammar or the vocabulary studied in class. It was just, what do you call it? Teaching terms, reinforcement. I don't know, most of my students did it maybe 3/4 to 100%. But I think some of the best homeworks that I set were, go and watch this video, go and read this article, go and listen to this song, and text your friend in English, have a conversation in English, because it's something that's relevant. But there's a lot of homework like out there that's just a waste of time. I mean, what is a good homework, you guys? What is it? What makes a good homework? Alex, I don't think my opinion is valid on the homework because our education system is pretty invalid. Yeah, I mean, this is something we've spoken about before. There are some issues in the Latvian education system. There's some good things. I can compare it to the UK, and there's some good things. There's some bad things. I think financially there are issues. And the ratio of teachers to students is a problem. The facilities is a problem. The emphasis, as Nastia is saying, on grades is a problem. Your grades don't decide. They don't decide your future. I mean, I can tell you that. Your mark in your Latvian exam, your mark in your English exam, your mark in your math exam, or your maths exam, does not decide your future. Like, we did GCSEs at age 15 and 16, and pretty much after that, everybody thought, these are the most important things ever. My whole life depends on this. But then when we did A levels at 17, 18, GCSEs, nobody cares. And then if you go to technical college or university, and you get a degree, then your A levels don't matter. And then if you do a master's, your degree doesn't matter so much. Your PhD, it doesn't matter. Your further qualifications don't matter. Like, I mean, if I was applying for a job now as an English teacher or a maths teacher, do they care about my GCSEs? No. So it's only important at that time. That's what I would say to you guys. It's only important at that time, and that's fine. But like in the future, it sort of loses its importance. Watching YouTube videos is good homework. Yeah, nice, thanks. Yeah, Nastia, I'm just going back up the comments here. I'm sorry to hear that every teacher in your school thinks that. Do they say it, or do they actually think it? Or is it just them, what do you say? Is it just them trying to say how important their subject is? Hey, I'm your history teacher and history matters so much. Is that it? I don't know. Exactly. Alex, 36 can't be individual. They have to do more research themselves. 12 people is already more individual. You can explain different ways. It takes 3 times less. I have a new person. Hello. Someone joined at 8:22. Glafira. Interesting. Hey, Glafira, where are you from? Why are you running? What? Okay, Alex, where are we? Competition is more dangerous. A dude who really wants to identify as the best mathematician in our school. Every time I got a better mark, he really tries to undermine me socially, academically. See, that's messed up. Like, it's not because of him, because of you, or because of the school system. Because competition can be used healthily. I'm going to go back to what the guy who made the comment that I read out said, Philip. He's in the same class as a couple of people in the comments. Super competitive, but really healthy. And like, if somebody does better than him, it inspires him, it motivates him. He was maybe a year or 2 younger than a couple of students who were better at English than he was, but it really motivated him, like super drove him to succeed. Not just to be the best, but just to get better from his point of view. Not I must be better than you. He was inspired by, I think it was sort of maybe 2 or 3 girls in the class who were older and a little bit more mature than him. It was a fantastic relationship. I mean, they're sitting here in the comments, and that's, hopefully they would agree with that. Really healthy atmosphere. It inspired everybody. I felt it drove people on. And if you have students who are driving other students to achieve, I mean, that's far more important, I would suggest, than what the teacher can do. What matters then? Hello, Lee. Grisha. Hello, Grisha. Oh wow, we're up to 8 people. Hey, hello everybody. This is the most people I've had in the live stream. This is brilliant. I'm just trying to read through these comments. What's your question, Emily? What matters then? Thank you for the song. I did for me. You're welcome. Alex, more information. Got a better mark than him in the exam. He was on edge with you. You started arguing. Something important. He made my nose bleed. See, that sucks. That's, excuse my language. That's not very good. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, then we've also got to remember in the education system, are we educating people, or are we encouraging them to develop as people, like strong mentally? Alex, you've spoken about someone who was weak mentally. Are we trying to encourage people to become stronger mentally? Competition can be used healthily for people who can take it, someone who becomes better. I was motivated to learn calculus and I did it, but not everyone can take competition. Nice. 8 people, fantastic. Folks, I'm going to go. I need some water. I have none left. I will be back in 1 minute. There are currently 7 people here. I have to take my mic off. Please still be here when I come back. I have a question though, just before I go. What's your favorite subject? Please comment. What's your favorite subject? I will be back in 1 minute. Hello. He's thirsty. Yes, I'm thirsty. Emily, where are you from? I don't know if you answered the question. Can you hear me? So what do we got? Favorite subjects? Physics, easy. I think we all knew that. Math and literature. What type of literature, Amelia? Russian literature, English literature, or just literature in general? Speedy return, yes. Emily, did you say where you were from? Let me just have a little look up. Yeah, my my favorite subject, I said earlier, was geography. Was it for my 4th or 5th birthday? A friend of my aunt's bought me an atlas. This was in 1990, so it was my 5th birthday, 1990. Now the atlas was 20 years old, and it was an atlas about this. I'm wondering, I'm in my old childhood bedroom. It might be here. I'm not going to disconnect. It's over there somewhere, honestly. And I looked at the maps and read all the information, and mostly the statistics. The population, the biggest city, the population of the biggest city, the average weather, all stuff like this. I became obsessed with numbers. So geography has always been my favorite subject. Lots of people have said to me, "Hey, Alistair," or "Mr. McCarty, why don't you teach geography?" And I've said, it's a hobby. It's a hobby. I didn't want something that I truly loved to become my work. I would get upset if I was teaching geography, if I was teaching something I was passionate about and other people didn't enjoy it. Whereas maths, I like maths. In fact, I love maths, but I don't get upset if you don't like it. And English, if you don't want to learn English, I respect that. Sometimes it's hard, it can be a little bit dull, but in geography, I would have got upset. So geography was my favorite subject. Russian literature, favorite subject going home. English and favorite topic, English. Okay, that's a lot of English. Literature, mostly because of the teacher we have and how he teaches, and history is my second favorite. So again, asked you, how important is the teacher? Like, for a subject, honestly, how important is the teacher for whether or not you enjoy and are successful in a subject? I mean, I'll put that out for everybody. How important is the teacher? Oh boy, more about Latvian education. Alex, problem with the Latvian education is that it focuses on too many things. That's why Imperial and Oxford don't even accept our diploma. Do you mean Imperial College London and Oxford University? They don't accept is this the Latvian 12th form results? They don't accept them. I did not know that. Is that what you mean? Yeah, that's crazy. Because I knew, like, in most places in the EU, universities will match up different countries to their education system. So if you get a qualification in Germany at the end of school, you can go to a Spanish university. It all sort of lines up accordingly. Like certainly when I was studying in the UK, we had the UCAS system, which was a series of points, and I knew that it sort of correlated. It matched up for different countries, something like that. Cambridge only recently accepted our diploma. So hang on. So why has Cambridge? I mean, that's terrible, dude. Why has Cambridge only recently accepted it and the other two don't? There has to be consistency. That's like, it's not racist. It's elitist. That is elitist. I don't like that. One reason I fell back in love with physics is my teacher. Fair. Yeah. I can't use my potential to fill some subjects I'm good at, because I have to work hard in other subjects and therefore forget about my talents. And that's one of the issues, Alex, with the Latvian system. You have to study every subject until 12th form. So in the UK, up until 13 or 14, you did every subject. Then you dropped some. So I dropped art, technology, IT, things like that. And that was GCSEs up until 15, 16. And then after that, I did 4 subjects for a year: maths, physics, chemistry, and geography. And then I dropped to 3 subjects. So for those of you who are in Latvia, in 12th form, I studied 3 subjects. 3 subjects: maths, chemistry, and geography. I could focus all my attention in these subjects. I didn't have to do all the stuff that I wasn't so good at. Now, certain subjects were compulsory up until, as I say, up until 13, 14. Certain were compulsory up until 15, 16. Maths, English, a language, for example. But then after that, after GCSEs at 16, you had complete choice. Like, complete choice. You could do whatever you wanted, providing there were teachers in the school to teach it. I mean, I'd want that totally. Alex, what would be the 3 subjects you would do? I mean, maths, physics, chemistry? I guess that's a silly question. The reason I fell out of love with math was my ex-teacher. Then a good teacher came back and I started excelling. The teacher is crucial, but surely the students are more important, says me as a teacher. I'm going to get back to some more student comments speaking about that. So again, this is what else can be done in the classroom to help students speak more English. Or if you're learning French, speak more French. If you're learning German, speak more German. Chinese, more Chinese. Who have we got this time? Alina, different one. We've sort of spoken about this. I think giving us a homework as watching some specific film or TV show. Someone has said that if you do something you like and you're learning, it's like 2 for the price of 1. Like learning, doing something you enjoy, you know. At the minute, I'm listening to a Russian-speaking band. And you know, I'll listen to the song a few times, look at the lyrics, try and read them in Russian, then put it into translate. I'm not specifically learning Russian, but it's like totally helping with my hearing and my pronunciation. And does it feel like work? No, of course it doesn't. It's kind of cool music. Alternative, really cool. Like, honestly, if you're learning English, learning language, listen to music, watch movies, play games. It's amazing. Dennis says it's important to mix cultures, and he describes the classroom. There's different L1 languages. There are 3 different ones, but we make a conversation using L2. So there was Russian, Latvian, and Ukrainian in that classroom, but they all spoke in English. And he's just like, different cultures and different languages, amazing. I'm another anonymous person. I've mostly learned English by watching films and listening to some music. You get the emotions too. Fantastic. Teacher is super important. Okay, I'm sorry. The students, of course, need to be willing to learn. Thank you, Emily. The students, of course, need to be willing to learn, but the teacher can't just simply read out a textbook and tell you to read the notes. I 100% agree. If you have students who are willing and a teacher who facilitates, it's a good word, facilitates, then you've got the perfect combination. They need to interact with you and communicate, etc. Yeah, I 100% agree. Fantastic. Thank you. Michael didn't want his Russian version of his name. Vocabulary games, for example, Scrabble, learning spoken language phrases, which will be useful in real-time situations. I mean, everything you learn has to be real. History, English, languages. If it's not real, if it doesn't have a purpose, what is the point? Showing students scientific videos or videos on popular topics, music, cars, TV shows. Kate, probably the best way would be to keep giving us speaking tasks with the opportunity to express ourselves and to challenge each other's opinions. The more spontaneous our discussions get, the more we maximize our English. Nice. Please, I mean, if you're listening to these, give any comments. I'm going to switch slightly. I'm going to start this this next bit with a question. So if you're at school, this is easy to answer. If you're at university, easy to answer. If you're not, think about the past. What is the best way to get the students to talk more and to do more, and the teacher to talk less and do less? I'll ask again. I want your comments. What is the best way to get the students to talk more and do more, and to get the teacher to talk less and do less? Please comment away. I have some notes I will share with you again, but I want to know what you think. Get the teachers doing less, the students doing more. How do we do it? I'm very sorry, Amelia. Oh, we're up to 9. Maybe you guys are sharing. That's fantastic. My history teacher is just reading the book in Latvian. Honestly, Amelia, is that what's happening? Are they literally just, I have a book? Are they literally just picking up the book and reading it? Like, well, what do you do? Please tell me, what do you do? I mean, this makes me angry. This makes me want to cancel the live stream, go and find your history teacher and sort them out. Did they speak English? Like, are they honestly just reading the book? Seriously. The whole, but what do you do? What do you do? It's crazy. Alex, you're your own best teacher. Yes, the students, learners should be teachers. Teachers should be learners. Absolutely. You're your own best teacher, but you need a really good teacher to guide yourself. Fair. Now, so geography is so interesting for me, but I have a terrible relationship with the teacher, and I hate going to the lesson now. But say something controversial. You want me to say something controversial? Death penalty. Fight. Just chill. If the students are lazy, that's their fault. Speak to them as individuals, and it's then their choice to ask for help and learn. That's my opinion as a student. Yeah, fair. Nastya, why do you think you have a terrible relationship with your teacher, and what do you think can be done to improve that? Remember the overall question: how can we get students doing more in a lesson? We've just heard from Amelia that her teacher just reads the book all lesson. Now, I'm sure there's a time for teachers reading, but the whole lesson, no chance. Saying something controversial makes you do nothing and students do it all. Okay. I'm going to say something controversial. Should I end this live stream right now or keep going? There are 9 people here. This is the most we had. Should I just end it right now and leave it or not? What do you think? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to give me an opinion. Hey. No? Okay, thank you. I'm getting tired, truth be told. I have some comments though. I do have some things to say. But no, Alex, that is a great point. Be controversial. No, thanks, Alex. So Amelia, why do you have an amazing biology teacher? Is it because of the relationships? Is it because of how they teach? Is it the atmosphere? What is it? I mean, what makes learning amazing? That's something that I'm really passionate about. You can hopefully you can understand I'm really passionate about teaching. If that doesn't come through from this, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Here's a piece of advice, or not piece of advice. Here's a comment from Michael. This is quite long. The student, they've called it STT, student talking time, should be increased in education, the education process. Firstly, because it improves speaking skills using idioms. I have a book in idioms I might use. Useful phrases in our speech, and so on. Secondly, because we communicate. Communicating, we listen to what our partner says, and sometimes it might be something new for us. And that's a brilliant comment. Like, I think in teaching English, we call it an information gap. If, excuse me, if you're talking to someone and they have something, some information that you don't have, it's called an information gap, and it gives you a reason to talk. You know, at a lower level, it might be, what did you have for breakfast? Obviously, at a higher level, it's, you know, what's your opinion on, I don't know, throw out a philosophical question. You know, what's your opinion on Donald Trump, one of his policies? That's not very interesting, something like that. Michael goes on to say, to help students to adapt to the modern world, to be competitive amongst other students and workers, to accustom means to get used to accustom students to speak fluently, even if they don't know exactly what to say, they'll at least have knowledge how not to be dishonored. Nice. To let students get used to each other using communication between them, to teach students to be self-sufficient. I mean, Michael should be here speaking, not me, but that's just an amazing comment. It's really hard to explain your relationship with your geography teacher. Maybe this is the place. Don't say their name or don't say the school, but like if you can identify why there's an issue and maybe what you can do or what they can do, perhaps that can help. In my first 3 years teaching maths, I was there for 8 years. I had some problems. It took me 3 years to figure out how to do it, to be confident, to know the subject, to know how to have a relationship with students. And I had some really difficult situations in those 3 years that I had to work through, and I had to work through with some students. You had parents come in, you have conversations. It was really difficult. You know, I was a young man, maybe 21, 22. It was hard. I don't know. Think about it. What can you and your teacher do to to make the situation better? Meaning, don't spoon feed them. Nice. Oh, someone who has turned up in the live feed has subscribed. Thank you. Glafira. That's an amazing name. Glafira. Is that a real name, Glafira, or is it like a nickname? Am I saying it? Yeah, Glafira. Nice. Thank you, Glafira. Meaning, don't spoon feed them. Yeah, fantastic. I don't know if this is another idiom or phrase. Spoon feed is like, imagine the situation for little children, for babies. They can't feed themselves. They're not self-sufficient. So the mother or the father or whoever would give them a spoon and put the spoon in their mouth. And they spoon feed them. And sometimes teachers spoon feed their students. Oh, here it is. This is how you do it. Like patronizing. That doesn't help people learn. So yes, Emily, that's what we mean. Don't spoon feed them. You find that GCSEs were extremely spoon-fed. Are you from Scotland? No, you must be from England. England, Wales, or Northern Ireland. Real name? No, thank you. Thank you, Glafira. Yeah. Okay, that's the wrong tab. Pick the right tab. Let's hear what Maria says. The teacher talking level should be reduced because it's just boring to listen to teachers lecture for the whole lesson. Students do not like to listen to lectures at all. And while we listen to it, in most cases, we just want to sleep or to do something else. We do not get information normally. As a student, this is Maria, I can say it would be better if we have the possibility to speak to each other, and while we speak, we will improve our language easier, and it will be more interesting for us. Tell me about your teachers. Do you find them interesting to listen to? Do you find them boring to listen to? Do they talk too much? Do they talk not enough? Please, in the comments, do your teachers talk too much or not enough, and how do you find it? Nice comment from Maria. See, this is, I put together two different, one was a presentation, one was a Word document. These are the questions I asked my students. Some of them here will maybe recognize the names. For me, that's really important. I gave my students responsibility. The first set of information you heard, I presented a conference in Budapest, minimizing L1, your native tongue, and maximizing L2 in my situation English. And for me, it was really important when I was at this conference. I didn't have so much to say. I wanted my students to be presenting to the other teachers at this conference. It was a teacher training conference, and I think that makes such a difference. You give students responsibility for learning, and they feel like they're part of it. They feel like it's a team, teacher and student together. The teacher is a learner, and the learners are teachers. It's like teamwork. It's really useful. And fantastic comment. Yeah, I'm sorry that you found your GCSEs spoon-fed, Emily. It's not very nice. My teacher kept calling me a girl for my long hair. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Alex. And kept calling me a tram for following my own ideas in maths, even if I formulas I derived were correct and applicable. So I was forced spoon-fed. Okay, forced spoon-fed is better than spoon-fed, but still not very good. That is an abusive relationship. That's not so good. Emily, did my teachers talk too much? Yes and no. The older I got, the more I realized that I needed to ask the right questions to learn, which made their answers more specific rather than them trying to figure out what to say. Hi, James. What are your thoughts on Boris? I'm going to put that to anyone else who's out there. What are your thoughts on Boris Johnson? Insofar as it's possible, James Lee, I'm not so interested in politics. I don't have a lot of time for politicians. I think they all avoid answering a straight question, like I'm doing now. I hear what you're saying. He might do the job. He is passionate about Brexit. Do I think Brexit should be happening? That's a different question. I don't think so. It's been going on for an awful long time. I just don't see any direction. Right from the campaign, when it was first presented, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody had a clue, certainly from the point of view of my country in Northern Ireland and the border, all that stuff. Nobody knew what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on right now. I'm not sure I support that. Obviously, this is how people voted. So if it happens, and I'll support it. But let's wait and see. Boris seems very convinced that he's going to stick with this October date, so we'll wait and see. Politics are boring as heck. Yep, I agree. They all need to sort out their hair. Politicians or other people. Nice. Let's have a comment from. I keep opening the wrong slide. Let's have a comment from Nastya. We should reduce teacher talking time because it gives a chance to practice student speaking skills. Talking will make students interested in the theme of the lesson. That's important. And that's great. And it's great that teachers can correct students' mistakes. And that will make students learn from their own mistakes, which is more suitable for language learners. Besides, I think there must be balance and the teacher should talk to. In my opinion, it works quite well in Satva. That's the school I was in. But in state school, there's a big problem with students talking time. Yeah, absolutely agree. Comment from Paula. Teacher talking time should be reduced because if the teachers only teach, then students will not correct the studies with their experience and ideas. When student talking time increases, students will connect the studies with their examples and will remember better the theory, vocabulary, etc. Also, the mistakes students make while talking, if the teacher corrects them, some corrections here, or says to them personally, they will remember it better. By studying only theory, Students will not improve their skills, and that's why students should talk, because it is a practical task. These guys are my students. I'm so proud of what they're saying, and they're giving me content for this video. I absolutely love it. Fantastic, Paula. I have a comment from Amelia next. I'm going to read it once I get back to these live comments. Amelia, our biology teacher allows us to write tests in pairs. What? And remember, you don't write tests, please. I'm going to put this one in the comments. You sit a test. That's a very common mistake. And you know, Amelia, it was on the wall in the classroom in room 313. We don't write a test. You sit a test. You take a test. You do a test. Hopefully, you pass a test. Yeah. But why would he let you sit a test in pairs? That's ridiculous. How can you test your own knowledge? Love my country. Sattva. I think I've just realized who Love My Country is. I recognize the wow. Big problems with students talking in state schools. Is this a problem in the UK, Emily, as well? What about theoretical physics? Nice, Alex. That's what we call banter. Or maths. There's only theory in maths. Maths is a language. Maths is a language, I would say that. Like, just like English is a language, Russian's a language, Spanish is a language, maths is a language. And yes, Alex, whilst I respect there's lots of theory in it, it's also about how you apply the theory, right? Your good friend Elon Musk, he is doing things. Yes, he obviously had to learn all the theory, and man, he is intelligent, but he is now applying it in doing things, inventing things, patenting things, whatever you want to call it. Everybody from 313, put your hands up. That'll be me. It's a problem in the UK. Emily, I mean, do the students not talk enough in schools in the UK? That's, I think, what we're talking about here. Is it too much of the teacher talking or too much of the students talking, Emily? I think that's what I mean. Yes, your Reddit account has the same name. I've now remembered it. It took me 1 hour, 50 minutes, Love My Country, to figure out who you are. But welcome. It's great to have you here. Yeah. Did I explain that okay, Emily? Let's get next comment. Amelia, let's listen to you. Amelia, also in the live comments, this is something you wrote. I think student talk time should be increased because it helps improving your speaking, and usually people like to talk. It also will be more interesting for students to talk about different topics and their lives. The attendance of classes will become bigger, and that's really important. If you're not there, you can't learn right. If you're not in physics class, you can't learn physics. If you're not in English class, you can't learn English. Bums on seats. Teacher should correct our mistakes. The teacher should correct our mistakes. Nice, Amelia. Amelia, do you remember writing this one? It's like 3 or 4 months ago. Fantastic. Musk is meme lord. Of course, you and your memes. Love my country. Fantastic. It's good to have you here. Like, folks, I'm giving you lots of information here. Like, any questions you want to ask, please ask questions. I think there's been like the same 4 or 5 people have been here the whole live stream, which is great. I'm having a really good conversation. It's fantastic that you guys are here. I can't believe we're still going. Like, ask a question that we can all talk about. I can give my opinion, and people can type things in the comment. Let's just see how it goes. Please ask away. Okay, Alex, that's quite specific. What do you think about Vettel's penalty in Canada? I agree with the BBC article, which I'm sure you read. I think he behaved like a wuss. He was weak. He didn't identify. He deserved his penalty. He was just a bit of a crybaby. That sounds terrible. He deserved his penalty. Is that okay? Am I allowed to say that? Have I upset you? Of course not. No. I have a slight problem. My laptop needs plugged in. Hang on. I'm still here. Wait. I just need to unplug for a second. It'll be 20 seconds this time. Hang on. There. played squash last. What am I doing? So I played. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, all good. Has something changed? No, still here. So I played squash last night. If some of you guys saw it, my Instagram story, and it's the first time I've done exercise for a while. My friend David, who I played with, is much better than me. He gave me a bit of the run around, like going crazy. My legs are a little bit stiff. That's why it took longer than 20 seconds. Best movie from 2018. Which year was 2018? 2018. Like I don't remember movies. Like I remember movies from the 1990s. Love My Country, but like 2018, 2017 examples, and I can answer the question. What happened in Canada? I don't keep up with the news there. Yeah, Formula One. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Did people see the? I will ask this. Did people see the Aladdin movie? It was out recently, 2018, 2019. Did people see Aladdin? And what do people think? Right. Let's listen to Vladislav. So this is about how to get the teacher speaking less, doing less, getting the students speaking more and doing more. Really important. Vlad says, first of all, I want to say that we all need to speak about common things increasingly to increase our vocab, and we still need to practice grammar more. Maybe something I didn't do so much. I don't know about the others, but sometimes I doubt my sentences, and I can sit in this condition about 5 or 10 seconds, which holds up my speech. So Vlad is suggesting that, yes, it's good to speak, but you need to actually have the vocab, the grammar, and the ideas to know how to speak. Otherwise, you're not going to speak fluently. Let's see what Dasha says. TTT, teacher talking time, also does not need to be reduced too much, yet we, the students, need to know the teacher's opinion about our skills. So the teacher shouldn't just be talking inanely, that means pointlessly, inanely about, I don't know, the weather or anything. But they should be helping the students with target language or with corrections. The teacher gives us enough time to discuss some topics at the very beginning of the lesson, which helps us to get ready for the lesson. The main topics of the lesson in the middle are at the end of the lesson too. Yeah, so that's quite nice from Dasha, basically saying that how you start a lesson has an impact on the rest of the lesson. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the movies. Alan, hi, can we join the Hangout? Can we join this Hangout and voice chat with you? Haha, that is how you get banned. Yeah. I don't really know what that means. I'm not so good at technology. What do you mean, Alan? Like this is I'm giving a live stream. I don't think people can like have a voice chat with me. You can type away in the comments. Nice question. My opinion on Keanu Reeves. Matrix and speed. Enough said. Emily, I find calling out on students, as much as I hated it, for them to answer questions, kept us on our toes. Yeah, Love My Country, we know your opinion on Keanu Reeves. Fantastic. Made you pay better attention. So Emily, is this a good thing? Should teachers just pick on students? You know, math lesson, should you just randomly ask a student? In a language lesson, should you just randomly ask a question to a student? Is this a good thing? In fact, let's have everybody. There are currently 8 people in the comments. Should teachers ask students questions without taking hands? Or you, what's this? What's this? Yes or no? Just write yes or no. Let me know what you think. Okay, comment here from Alexander, not the Alexander that's in the comments. Again, this is about getting the students to do more. In my opinion, when the teacher is talking, students can't understand the whole thing. Yeah, because on that time or during that time, something might distract them. Get distracted. or they can talk or think about something else. Actually, it's really boring to listen to the teacher all the time. No offense taken, Alex. At the same time, talking with your friend or classmate is amazing. You can find something interesting about your partner. Also, you can talk easily because it's not the teacher. Nice. From Robert, I think teacher talking time should be reduced because if the teacher is constantly dominant, good word, and controlling, the learners take no responsibility for their own learning, but learn what the teacher decides for us and when. So the reason of increasing student talk time is for learners to teach themselves. I mean, to some extent, the teacher should decide what the learners learn, but particularly when you're a little bit older, then you can decide yourself, right? A lot of people speak about having your L2 identity, particularly if you go and live in a foreign country. You might want to be a different person. You know, if you are speaking Portuguese and your first language is, I don't know, Swedish, you might want to have a different character in Portuguese than Swedish. So you have to identify who you want to be, you know? So Alex, you're, commenting away here. For you, science, physics, sport, things like this is part of your identity in English, and probably in Russian and Latvian too. But you've got to find out who you are, and it could be very different in different languages. Yeah. Hello, what else have we got in these comments here? Made you pay better attention? Yeah, I agree. Do we live in a simulation? Yes. You should randomly ask a student, but make them come to a conclusion rather than abuse them if they get it wrong. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if someone gets it wrong, that shouldn't be a negative thing. You should be building people up. It should be about learning. It's not about, life is not about right and wrong. The classroom is about learning. It's about making progress. I hope I didn't do that with my students. Not pick on specific students, just when the class is looking bored or not paying as much attention as they were at the start of the lesson. Yeah, fantastic. You can't just pick on the student who doesn't like the answer, who doesn't know the answer, for example. Yeah, that would be unfair. That's like abuse. But it's about keeping people on their toes, making sure everyone's paying attention. Brilliant. Fantastic question, Emily. Yes. Love my country, sub to PewDiePie. Interesting. Just a side note, I always find teaching something and making students work together briefly using the knowledge just taught. I think that's fantastic. When I was going back to maths, for those of you who don't know, I taught maths for 8 years. I was part of a working group called the Speaking and Listening Group. And basically, we tried to create activities that focus more on speaking and listening. So rather than, teacher presented something, students do some questions, it was a case of, we're going to create activities that get the students doing things together, speaking and listening to each other, so that they were using maths as a language. This is why people are like, oh, English and maths different. No, they're not. Maths is a language, English is a language, Russian and Latvian are languages where I was teaching, all very similar, all very logical, fits together. So this working party, this speaking and listening working party, we were coming up with activities that got people doing things together, and whilst doing it, speaking and learning. And all the research says that that's better for you. Doing, speaking, listening for the win. 100% agree, Emily. Brilliant. Help make you pay better attention, yeah, because you don't want to look stupid in front of your partner, if that makes sense. That totally makes sense. It's a little bit of a competitive element. Like for 4-year-olds, it might not work. But once you get to a certain age and a certain resilience and confidence, a little bit of pressure helps, right? I agree. You don't want to look stupid, yeah, because when I got abused for not paying attention, even though I was paying attention, I ended up in a sour relationship with many shouting. That's not good. I said, some time ago I had some issues, some problems when I started teaching, but thankfully, for which I'm very blessed, in the last number of years, I haven't had any, broken relationships with students, and nothing like this shouting contest you're talking about, Alex, which is good. I don't agree with the Latvian curriculum that teaches us what, but never how and why. I don't have a copy of the book with me, but a book by Simon Sinek. I'll just type it here. Simon Sinek. I'm not. This isn't sponsorship. I'm not trying to make money, guys. You know that. Called "What's Your Why?" Go and have a look at it. It's basically what Alex is saying. You start with why. It presents like if I had a pen, I could write on the wall. So imagine a circle, and then the center of the circle is why. You know, why are you doing something? Then the circle around the outside is what, or is how, and then the outer part is what. You got to start with why you do something. So, for example, why are you learning English? You know, why am I doing this video, right? Actually, yeah, let's make this practical. Alex, this is an amazing comment. Thank you so much for asking it. We'll have this conversation. In the comments, why am I making this video? Why am I doing this live stream? Those of you who know me know why, but type, why am I doing this live stream? You're not going to upset me. Go for it. And then how do you do it? You know, set up the tech, blah, 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 whatever. And then what? What is it that you do? And that's how you start. You start with why, then how, then what. So Alex, I read your blog with the same title. Yeah. I 100% agree. You know, I've not studied in a Latvian school, but I've heard a lot of stories. It mostly happened in my school in Northern Ireland. It happened a little bit when I was teaching in England, but you've got to start with why. You know, why are we learning Pythagoras' theorem? Why are we looking at trigonometry? Why are we learning the third conditional? What earth is the point? If you don't know why, how are you going to do it, and what are your students going to learn, right? Start with why. I probably actually have some stuff. I might have to go and open a new tab and try and find it, where I ask my students about this. What's your why? I might have a look. What do you think about teachers that choose shouting and embarrassment of students? Is this a problem in the UK, in my opinion? I don't think teachers should shout. And it's a good question. While I'm thinking, do your teachers shout? Or did your teachers shout? Depending on your age. I remember when I was training to be a teacher, my mentor, teacher trainer said, you know, you want to start, I'll speak a little bit quieter, you want to speak very quietly so that you've always somewhere to go to. And you can go up a bit, but once you start shouting, you have nowhere to go. Your voice can't get any higher, and you've lost all your credibility. So you want to start on a very low, this is advice for teachers, if they're any watching, or anybody, whatever you're doing, you want to start very, very low. So that you get everybody, and then you go higher only if you need it, like once a week, but not shouting. Shouting, to some extent, shows a lack of respect for people and a lack of control. If Alex, you'd been in my classroom, if other of my students are still here, I'm not sure if I ever shouted. I think in 3 years at my school in Latvia, I shouted once. And it was actually during examination, because there are rules during examination and someone was speaking. And they did it 4 or 5 times. So I went quiet, and then I shouted, and then that was the end of it. I then had to apologize. I apologized to the student after the exam, but they were clearly breaking exam rules in a classroom setting. I think that was the only time in 3 years. I can't remember. Love my country. Thank you very much for showing up. I love the 4-leaf clover. Brilliant. The house that Jack built. Nice. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock in Latvia now, so thank you. Alex, yeah, you're answering the question because you love educating people and it gives us exposure to English. Yeah, absolutely. I remember you doing that why thing. Nice. This is pretty interesting. Which part's interesting, Alex? I've potentially got more to say about it. Do you mean about the level of volume that a person speaks up? Is that what you mean? Anyway, I'm going to get back because the comments I read from other people keep generating conversation. You guys in the comments are absolutely incredible. Yeah, life advice in any form of business where you're presenting to people, you want to start on a base level and then you can build up, but then you always return to your base level. It took me about 2 years to master that. Obviously on YouTube, you want to speak quite clearly because I've got a little mic. But certainly in the classroom, for me, it's always very, very quiet. So the students have to actively listen to you rather than they can be distracted and not hear you. They have to choose to listen. That's why it's sometimes good to have a soft voice. It also protects your voice. But I've got plenty of water, so we're good for now. Let's get back to what the students say. You've never thought about it? That's cool. Usually I get very passionate. I feel like I should take this up. Yeah, you can. No, honestly, Alex, you can be passionate. You can be passionate without raising your voice. Yeah, you can be passionate without raising your voice. Absolutely, give it a go. Get in front of the mirror, practice. You train your voice. Right, who's next? Igor. A fantastic student, Igor. I truly believe that students can only increase their level of knowledge by facing individual difficulties. We spoke about this earlier in the video. Learning should be individual. Fantastic. As a matter of fact, lovely start to the sentence, the first step in solving a problem is to recognize that it exists. This is gold dust, Igor. This is not for learning English, this is for life. First step in solving a problem is to recognize that it exists. And then for English, the only way to identify then the problems is to practice speaking a lot. Thus, lovely word, student talking time needs to be increased and teacher talking time reduced in order to provide that so the teacher can correct. Brilliant. Right, here's a really long one coming up. Agreed. Nice. This is from Agnes. Agnes. Bear with me here. Bear with me. This is quite long. As I'm speaking, if you guys could give your opinion, that's always very good. I think we're down to 3 or 4 people now. It's getting quite late. The question whether teacher talking time should be reduced is a rather controversial topic. Supposing it actually gets reduced, then how are students supposed to learn from their mentor? It's true that increasing student talking time provides more practice, crucial in the process of learning itself. But reducing teacher talking time puts countless students under the risk of wasting about 50% of their potential. Do you agree? This is how I see it. When having Agnes was a higher level in an advanced class, but higher level than the rest of the class. When having a conversation with another student, you might receive a brief refreshment of the active vocabulary or so, but students like us often make mistakes, especially grammatical. If unnoticed, these mistakes often repeat themselves over a long period of time. On the other hand, when speaking to a native speaker, such as our teacher, we receive even more than we could have received by talking to our fellow classmates. We receive extra, high-frequency vocabulary, idioms, and expressions commonly used in the English language, and most importantly, the ability to learn from our mistakes, just because we have someone to point them out. From my perspective, student talking time should be increased only as long as teachers join the conversations in order to monitor the precision of certain grammar points used and to help their students to learn more effectively. That was a mouthful from Agnes. It was just a very short task, but she took some time at home to send me something detailed. What do you think about what Agnes says? Albert Einstein. Yeah, Albert Einstein, we can't solve a problem using the same thinking we did when we created the problem. You know, what's the quote? I don't remember. Doing the same thing over and over again? Who said this? Alice, can you put it in Google, please? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity, or something like that. Someone put it in Google, please. I think it's applicable, yeah. I mean, Agnes is raising a good point that if you're talking to students, neither student is fluent in English or whatever language you're learning. You bring the teacher in, yeah, but you can't expect a teacher to have a one-on-one conversation with everybody. It's a hard balance. This is why something called delayed feedback, delayed correction is really important when you're learning a language. How does that basically work? So usually at the end of a lesson, the teacher would set up a task where the students, we call it mingling, go around and mingle to all the different students, say using the grammar point, say they'd made up their own second conditional questions. And the teacher will just go around, listen and point out common errors afterwards, after the 10-minute chat, put them on the board and then get students to correct them. You wouldn't know who made the mistake, you wouldn't say who it was, but it would be common mistakes only about the specific focus. Very popular in English language teaching. I'm not sure how useful it is, because I mean, my students just kept making the same mistake over and over and over again. I had things all over the wall. If my students are still here, they'll tell you that, if I will, stop saying if I will. It's a mistake. Write a test, stop saying it. It and it's, should, must, should, to go, things like this, common mistakes. So I'm not sure how effective these methods are. But yeah, I'm with Agnes. Delayed feedback, delayed correction can be really important. It takes a special sort of person to be a teacher. My brother said, to be a teacher, all that needs to have happened is you need to have been taught. I don't know what you think about that, Emily. It's actually stressing me imagining trying to involve 20 plus students in a classroom and teach them. That's why you need passionate teachers, Matt. Yeah, absolutely. And Albert is your boy, Alex. I once substituted an English teacher in a class, and her main guideline was to make sure no one jumps out the window. Hey, depends what's happening in your classroom. It's kind of hell. Sounds like torture to me. Yeah, I mean, teachers need to be passionate. Like, we had a teacher at my school who super passionate. He was there my first 2 years, and he was all about the passion, and got a little bit, I don't want to use the word disappointed, I'm not sure what the word is, but a little bit downcast when other teachers just came in just to do it. Teaching, I think you have to be passionate. Like, from my point of view, I'm passionate in making a difference in individuals' lives, but I do it in kind of a very low-key way. I'm not like a song and dance person, even though I'm here doing a live stream on YouTube. But to me, it's about individuals. You've got to change individual lives, and that's fine. That happens in the UK too, though. That's terrible, Emily. I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, jumping out a window, that's a big problem. I'm very pleased that in my 11 years of teaching, that's not a problem I had to encounter. Okay, who's next? Ignathi, very short. We have special, this is brilliant, Ignathi, brilliant. We have special tasks which include extended speaking. What that basically means is, I would have said to my students, here's your 4 questions. You have 8 minutes. Do not stop speaking about these 4 questions until the 8 minutes are up. And I find, and you can let me know how it works for you, if you give someone specific instructions and a specific time frame, they will follow it. 4 questions, 8 minutes, go. Do not stop before these 8 minutes. It teaches people to know how to have extended speaking. And the more they speak, this should be past tense, the more they spoke, the more I could correct. And the more they could get to know each other. And that's kind of fun. That's really good. That's why being an English teacher is incredible. That's not an instruction I would have given in the maths classroom. Speak to your partner, answer these 4 questions for 8 minutes. They would have had to maybe do things because it's a different curriculum. But like, specific instructions are amazing. Do you let me know, again, for you guys, if you're learning now or you were learning in the past, did your teachers give you specific instructions with a time frame? As in, this task, 3 minutes. Did your teachers do that? Yes or no? Who's next? Alex. Student talk time should be increased because students have to be used to speaking English and be able to tell their thoughts without any help. Maybe at first it will seem to them that it's difficult, but after time, they will have a large development in their speaking skills. However, and this is lovely, however, it doesn't mean that teacher talking time has to disappear at all. The teacher has to point out some mistakes we make, help with the pronunciation of some words, and suggest some interesting topics and questions. Yeah. Nice. Kate, some of these are the same students. In my opinion, students come to IH Salfa, that's the school, because they want to improve their level of English speaking. So student talk time is very important. I think our teacher speaks not much and gives us an opportunity to talk almost during the whole lesson. Palina, the main purpose of us sitting in this class is to start fluently sharing our opinion with others, correct some mistakes, and get rid of an accent. That's a good point, actually. The more you speak, the more chance you have of getting rid of your accent. Like, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but the more I speak here, with my family in Northern Ireland, my accent will get more and more Northern Irish. Don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Therefore, student talk time should be increased and take minimum 70% of lesson time. I think that's just an arbitrary, that means random number. Teacher talking time is better for grammar lessons when the teacher should explain difficult things. I don't think it's just about that. I think the teacher should bring things from the students. If there's a grammar point or something difficult, they should try and tease out what the student knows and then bring it back and then try and put the whole thing together, rather than just, this is the second conditional, this is the form we use, but I'm a robot, I'm telling you this, now you know it. That's just because you taught it, famous saying, just because you taught it doesn't mean they learned it. You're looking a bit tired. Well, yeah, it's been 2 hours, 20 days, okay. Grab a Red Bull. Yeah, it's just water, nothing in it. Can't wait to get that posh accent. No, Alex, don't aim for that posh accent. You have an American accent anyway, Alex. If my memory serves me correct. Who's next? Another Alex. I have about 6 or 7 Alexes this year. The teacher gives us speaking tasks. We're making conversations and discussing some problems and statements. And personally, I think that playing some games makes us speak more and, of course, makes the atmosphere in the class better. I mean, games are great, right? Otherwise, we must have a more friendlier atmosphere. Maybe we must communicate with each other, even the teacher with the students, in free time, not only at lesson time. Not sure that's as possible. We talk with our partners. Also, we make our questions not from the book. It makes our conversation real. Fantastic. So who are the 5 people who is here? Have I got Alex, Emily? Who are the other 3 people? Only been 2 people commenting for the last little bit. Who else is here? Say hello. Fantastic. Amelia, you're still here. Nice. That is 3. How was your I meant to ask this question to start. What did everybody do this Friday? Nasty's still here. That's 4. Who is the last person? Genuine question, Amelia and Nastya. Have you just been enjoying all the comments between Alex and Emily? I mean, they're fluent English speakers. Are you enjoying the comments? Just say yes or no. Amelia, you're at home? Oh. Work? Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, when you're getting lots and lots of authentic English, we've got to effectively, well, 1 person speaking English and then 2 people who are fluent in English typing. So it's actually really good for you guys. I hope I hope it's useful. An accent makes you individual. It's nice. Thanks, Emily. But my accent's a mess. I mean, some of my videos, one of my videos is like 140 comments where everyone's saying your accent's terrible. Like, it's so messed up because I've 18 years Northern Ireland and then England teaching maths and then Latvia teaching English. It's just messed up. And then when I come back here, it's back to Northern Irish. Like, I don't know if that's who I want to be. And where did South African accent come from, Alex? That's a bit crazy. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Who is next? I'm trying to find the one with what's your why. Alex, you said you're interested in that. What's your why? Let me just open my Google Drive and see if I can find it. While I'm doing that, I'm going to read you the next comment. This is again from Kip. We answer problematic questions. Given a problem, you want to solve it. Discuss and sometimes try to convince others. Nice. A teacher gives us a certain amount of time. We said this before. We should be speaking for 7 or 10 minutes, and we try to continue talking even if we have already discussed everything. It helps us to make our speech more fluent and natural. We start every lesson answering questions which are usually connected to the unit theme with our partner. The teacher gives us time to discuss our opinions with others. An example from Inna, what could be better? We could talk about how our day was, what happened. We normally don't do it, and that could give us an opportunity to increase our vocabulary naturally, because sometimes there are really weird and untypical situations that happen at school or somewhere else. And it's saying that sometimes in the classroom, maybe I didn't let my students just talk about their day. Natural things, we'd focus on the theme of the unit or stuff like this. Sometimes just say, hey, how are you? What's going on? And let the conversation go. Yeah, I'm trying to find this, what's your why? This is really, really important. Just open my Google Drive, bear with me. Any more comments here? Guess who's back? Back again. That is a nice reference. Love my country. Where did you go? Where did you go? You were away for like 20 minutes? Where did you go and what did you do? Tell us all. That's great. It is still going. Do you want me to stop? It is still going, believe it or not. Say you want to learn a language, brand new as an adult. What do you think is the best way to do this? I'm going to find this in my Google Drive. Could you other guys answer this question, please, from Emily? Best way to learn a language as an adult. So what's your why? Is that what I'm looking for? Where is it? Ah, here it is. Oh, this is awesome. Alex, whoever's idea this was is brilliant. Simon Sinek would be proud. Close that tab. You listen to my grandma's stories? Fantastic. And is your grandma watching the live stream? Love my country? Okay, nice, Alex. Duolingo and speaking with those people who speak the language. MTB. For those of you who don't know, MTB stands for mountain biking. If you want to know about that, send Alex a message. He'll tell you all about it. There's a presenter from South Africa. Just caught on. It was something different. I listened to him when learning a lot about mountain biking skills and vocab. It was not a joke. How was your grandmother? You know, was it the classic? You asked her Carpiola and then she spoke to you for 3 hours. Is that how it goes? You ask her how she is and she gives you the whole life story. She is fine. No, хорошо. Okay, one more on, no, what's the wrong tab? What am I doing? Here we go, from Victoria, something different. This is about, again, the students doing more and the teachers doing less. We could discuss some big questions all together as a class, because usually we talk in pairs, and then sometimes we give some feedback. But I think talking as one big group would stimulate everyone to speak and give their ideas. I mean, I spoke to Victoria and said that sometimes this is good, but like if one person is speaking and 11 people are listening, I don't think that's as useful as 6 lots of 2, because then everyone's involved in an active conversation rather than one person speaking. Maybe there's 6 people speaking. What do you think? Like speak as a whole class or speak in pairs? Which is more effective? This is an any situation. Grandma's stories are always the best. Хорошо. Хорошо means fine or well. If there's anybody here who doesn't speak Russian, and my accent's terrible, so sorry about that. Sometimes you just start speaking in South African accent. It's kind of cool. That's kind of cool, Alex. I like it. Why, how, what? No, we've looked at that. What? We kind of looked at this before. It's the same. I didn't realize that 2 things are the same. Sorry about that. Just wasted your time. That's okay. I'm going to get back to this. Arena. So again, this is for how to get students to speak more and do more. We already do discuss interesting and provocative topics in the classroom. However, I feel like giving students an opportunity to introduce topics might help to increase student talk time and what the students do. That's brilliant. Arena came and she said this to me before she typed it and sent it to the Google document that, hey, why don't you let us choose the topics? I usually just follow the topics in the book because I was supposed to cover 10 or 12 units of work. So I just kind of did what the book was and let them have their own questions. But Arena was saying, no, we're going to come up with the topics. And no, that's a nice suggestion. Got some questions here. What age range do you teach now? So the last 3 years, which isn't exactly now. The youngest students I had were 6, and the oldest, I mean, were adults. Right now, Emily, I'm kind of going private, trying to get some students to connect with me directly. And I mean, any ages. If it's online or if it's in person, it's easier if they're adults, but whatever works really. The most popular kid in the class will always steal the topic. That would not happen in my classroom, Alex. Nobody, and you know this, nobody was ever the most popular. All students are equal. I think actually, who was it? Amelia and Nastya, are you still there? Hey, girls, are you still there? I remember the reviews that you two wrote me. If you haven't written me a review, please go to my Facebook page. Here comes some advertising. This is terrible. I'm being sold out. Facebook page, Al's Action English. Write me a little review. Only if I ever taught you. If I didn't teach you, please don't write me a review. But I'm going to find them. And this is probably what I'm most proud of as a teacher. Was it Amelia or was it Nastya? I don't remember, girls. Who was it? Nastya. It's about me. He does not single out any students, respects everyone, and helps if he sees that you need help. I'll be honest, for me, that's the most important thing. So I respect your point, Alex, about the most popular kid will steal the topic, but I'm legitimately proud, and I don't mean in an arrogant way, that I tried really hard to have everything equal in my classroom. Like everybody the same, dislike everybody the same, try and help people the same. That's really difficult, but having favorites in the classroom as a teacher can destroy the whole atmosphere. I mean, again, tell me about your classrooms. Do your teachers have favorites? Do the most popular kids or adults, do they win? I don't know, that's something for me that was really important. Just to try and be really level-headed and really consistent with everybody, because everyone's there to learn English, and whether or not I like you isn't important. Obviously, you want to try and have a positive relationship with students, which I hope I did. Again, Amelia and Nastya, you can be honest here, but just try and treat everyone the same. If someone makes a mistake, help them. If someone else makes a mistake, help them, and try and be consistent. But I respect your point, Alex. Everyone's different. The kids who hate the teacher the most are less favored, kind of, but treated equally. Yeah, I mean, I'm aware. I've even in the last, this year I had some brilliant classes. There's still students who didn't like me, of course, but I tried not to take it personally and just have the focus of, okay, you don't like me, I don't care. I don't have an opinion. I'm here to help you get better at English. I'm an adult. Whether or not you like me is of no importance. All that's important is that you get better at English. That's it. As long as you don't upset me or disturb the class or disturb your own learning, it's fine. It's just here to learn English. Hello, Nathan, where are you from? And Caleb, where are you from? Got 2 more people showing up. So if you're Nathan and Caleb, you're showing up now. The live stream's been going for 2.5 hours. How did you find it? Did you find it through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, friends? How did you find it? Oh, hi, Jeff. Hello, Pot. Jeff, Scotland. Someone from Scotland. There's some really good videos on YouTube about the difference between a Northern Irish accent and a Scottish accent. You didn't enjoy the live streaming, okay. It's taken you 2 hours 30 to say it, but that's fine. I appreciate that. Emily, from Liberia. Excellent. Are you, Jeff, are you from Monrovia? That's the only place I know in Liberia. Monrovia? Am I typing it correctly? I seem very nice. Thank you, Caleb. I try my best. I'm sure if you read the comments, people might not agree, but that's the plan. To walk 5 miles a day for water, that is terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. And getting the full internet treatment. Okay, don't need any comments like that. Thank you very much. Nigeria. Where are you from in Nigeria? Lagos, Kano. Where else do I know in Nigeria? Port Harcourt, Surulere, Abuja, the capital. Yeah. No comments on what I look like, please. That's highly not important. Is that a new shirt? No, it's not a new shirt. I'm gonna. Wow, some comments coming through. Nice. So I'm gonna read one more recommendation that came through on Facebook. He understands and respects his students. I think that's implied that that's for all students, which is great. Okay, folks, it's 2 minutes 35. Yeah. Let's remove some of the people who are commenting not very nice things. Just give me a second, because I'm doing this by myself. I don't have anybody to moderate. So just those of you who are here, I'm gonna. Alex, you're there. I'm gonna let you moderate. Is that okay? Alex, yeah. Alex, I've now put you as a moderator. Can you go through block, deal with whatever you want? Yeah, cheers. Thanks, appreciate that. It's one of those things that I think people can find others randomly. You have no idea, it could be a bot or whatever. But I watched a video, I think it was about 2 months ago, with what to do if people try and steal your personal data or try and go and find where you live, or in the live comments write some unpleasant things. I thought, forget about it. You know, I have 400 subs or 300 subs or whatever like that. I was like, you know what? It'd be nice to have someone to help. So, legitimately, I think Alex, Nastya, you've been here the whole time. It's amazing. Emily, you've been here. I don't even know who you are, but thank you so much. Some amazing comments. Amelia, you've been here pretty much the whole time. So actually, if like the next time I went live, if someone I can trust, and preferably someone who's fluent in English, can help out with moderating. I don't know, Alex. You seem like an obvious suggestion. If you're interested, if you can be free, that would be great, because it's something that I don't know if I got a little bit nervous there. They're sleep deprived. It's past their bedtime. Quite possibly. I get a little bit nervous about things like this. You can probably see it puts me a little bit on edge. Yeah. So yeah, it's 2 minutes 38. I'm getting quite tired. Some people are going to go to bed soon. I'm going to open the option just for a couple of questions that people can ask. Maybe we'll go 10 minutes on some questions. I can answer them, and then I'll put it out there for you guys to answer as well. Those of you who've been here, it's only been a few of you, but it's been amazing. So please, any questions would be nice. And Alex, thank you for I'm just having a little look through here. I sort of can't do two things at once. You've been deleting things and timing out things and blocking things. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Emily, thank you for your support. I appreciate that. And Nastya and Amelia, I know you're there. Thank you for your support also. So yeah, any questions, please? Any questions, ask away. So Emily, you're giving me advice here. Totally agree. Thank you. Don't get nervous. Just delete the comments and don't comment about them. Then you're good. Yeah. It's nice, Alex. Thank you that you have experience moderating live streams. I appreciate that. Would it be mountain biking, or motor racing, sport, science? What sort of experience do you have? Emily, that means a lot. Thank you very much. Obviously, having someone on side watching and supporting, actually, and now moderating can help. So thank you. That individual touch is actually really important for me. This is my second live stream. The first one I took. The first one I had lots of questions prepared. This one I didn't. I had some stuff about teaching, but that was all on my laptop. And Nastya, are you still there? Just say yes or no. If Nastya's still there, she basically said to me, you should go live and don't think about it, just go live. Just be yourself, just be natural. Don't plan anything, just go live and enjoy it and get more comfortable on camera. So I was like, okay. She convinced me. She's a offer me some support, so I appreciate that. Generally Hangouts and gaming, but yeah, nice. How many of these trolls do you notice generally on the internet? Emily, anybody else who's there? How many trolls? I mean, Love My Country, are you still here? Amelia, Nasty, are you still here? Anybody else still here? How many trolls? I haven't got too many on my channel, because it's, I have 690 subs and 50, 60,000 views, so there's not too much happening. Maybe 5, 6, 7 trolls. Some people using unpleasant language, racist, sexist language like this, or specifically attacking me. Some of it you can obviously turn into a learning point if they make a mistake, or if they say something that's just ridiculous, you can actually comment back, and of course that keeps them quiet. If anything was ridiculously offensive, I would just delete it and then block the user. It seems to be the usual thing to do. Yeah, I agree. Just chill. And I hope I'm chilled right now. Can you guys tell? I mean, if you've been watching my channel for a while, can you tell that I've got a tripod now, a new chair? I mean, I'm not selling anything. It's a director's chair. It's actually about 30, 40 years old. It's fantastic. And then I've got 2 new lights over here. What do you call them? Like a softbox. So it was quite nice because about 3 months ago I ordered. I mean, the chair is old, but I ordered tripod and the lights. To have them delivered not to Latvia but to Northern Ireland, so that when I came back in June, it would be something new that was good to go. I don't know if it makes a difference for live stream, but I felt that like the last video in idioms that I did on Monday, it just made the quality better. And it's quite nice. They've got the covers on. It's pretty cool. Thank you very much, Emily. Going to bed. That's good. I'm not far behind you. So I keep letting it out of my brain. Are you planning on returning to Latvia? Good question, Alice. I don't know. Like, certainly my plan is for the next 3 months is to stay here. I wouldn't say I'm planning to go back to Latvia. It's not like a 100% no, but it's not my plans. I miss Northern Ireland. I'd like to sort of settle here. But I'm open to to whatever happens. And we'll see. I'm not making plans. I'm trying to grow a business here, as you can tell. To make a difference to people's lives and teach them English. And I quite like to do that independently. I've worked for people, and I'd like to sort of work for myself. I don't know. That's probably my answer. Good night, Amelia. Spokojnej nocy. And sorry for my terrible Russian pronunciation. That was good night in Russian. If don't speak Russian, or calm night, peaceful night. I don't know how it translates. But yeah, Brennan, you've been here, Amelia. Thank you. What time is it? It must be 11:45 in Latvia. You've been here for a while. So folks, thank you very much for showing up. The conversation started dying. I'm going to go. This has been brilliant. And there'll be a new video. On Monday. I'm going to try and go live. You can let me know. Just give me a yes or no. It can be yes, of course. If I do start studying in the UK, we can go to a pub, we can go to a coffee shop, we can go to the cinema. I can tour you around here. You can help my channel. All of the above, Alex. You're more than welcome. Come and hang out. It'd be great. Yeah, so I'm thinking of going live, something like this, just like casual, just have a chat once a week. Like, should I not? Because from my point of view, there's been a few people who have showed up, and you guys seem to have stayed the whole time, which is nice. I hope there's a bit of a nice conversation. But then the numbers were quite low. So yes or no? Is this a good thing to do? Just advertise it. Should I advertise it once a week? And then hopefully still to do the video every Monday. So I'm still maybe doing live stream every Thursday and keep the video every Monday. I'm gonna get Talisker. Which year? I would say if you can get a Talisker 18, you're very good. It's a Friday evening, but you should. Yeah, I'm thinking Thursday, Alex. Rolling into big guns, little Talisker. Yeah, Talisker 18. That'll cost you a few bucks, but I don't mind the occasional glass of such. You can find it. There's a lot of good restaurants and pubs around this part of the world. Northern Ireland's fantastic. Okay, folks, this live stream is about to end. I will see you for the next video on Monday. It will be about idioms, and yeah, it'll be something from this book. Look forward to it. Thank you very much, everybody. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.